And we are recording.
Alrighty. When last we left off, the Wolf Pack, after undertaking their most dangerous move yet, have managed to escape from the Imperial prison facility known as the Hole. After slaying the guards and the Commandant, looting the Commandant's office, extracting the political and non-violent prisoners, sending the violent prisoners down to the lower level, the pack finally made their way down into the monster-infested Level 3 to locate and extract the high-value prisoners there. However, during the attempt, the pack learned that their infiltration of the facility had been noticed and responded to by none other than the Blade himself. After a failed attempt to kill him with the facility's purge mechanic, the Blade offered them 5 minutes as courtesy to leave the facility before he actively forced his way back in with all of the means at his disposal. The pack somehow managed to retrieve all of the prisoners in that time, slaying most of the monsters down there, making their way back to Level 2 and out of the facility with seconds to spare. On returning to Krillaria, the pack began treating the wounded prisoners and learned some of their identities. The large, heavily scarred man was once known as Lord Edward Rose III, first son of House Rose, best friend of Prince Lothario Lightrock, and former consort to Princess Lillian Lightrock, who went missing some years ago following the prince's untimely death and a scandalous rumor about his relationship to Lord Edward. They also learned that the scrawny, seemingly insane mage, known as Grifter, was none other than former Archmage Garand Velaryon, once the Imperial Praetor of Magic and head of the Imperial Order of Magi, who had recently resigned in disgrace after a falling out with the Empress herself. But most importantly, and possibly most dangerously of all, the Wolfpack learned the true identity and name of their nemesis. For the man that they knew as the Blade was once known as Vandrin Oakhart, the second son of House Oakhart. And that is where we're picking up, as you guys are still kind of here in this medical tent here, now communicating telepathically with this Lord Edward. And we're describing things about the Blade and gave details about him, and he had a bit of a realization from that he knows the guy you're talking about in a much different context. And you've been, fighting him for, some of you for the better part of a year now after certain events, and you now have a name to put to that face. Wolfpack, what would you like to do?
A dude's gonna be pretty pissed, right? I feel like.
Yeah,
He's going to be angry.
Yeah.
Very angry.
He seems super insistent that we put everything back and leave. And we definitely didn't do that.
Yeah. He'll get over it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
You hear kind of a chuckle off in the corner as Ingrid Darby, she's kind of been here the whole time, just listening and, working on healing and things. She kind of starts to laugh a little bit. If you really think, please tell me that was a joke, right?
Half and half.
He doesn't seem inclined to let a grudge go.
So just so you're aware, I didn't even know his name, and I worked with him for a year and a half. He's really not going to be. I'm assuming he was. You talked with him, right, Drost?
Yeah.
I'm assuming he wasn't very pleased during that exchange.
No, he was very upset.
He doesn't get upset very easily. The one time I did see him get upset, let's just say that some very, very expensive equipment was destroyed in the process as he let that out. So I don't think it's going to go very well. And I'm just going to say this now. Maybe don't let him know that you know who he is.
That's probably
be honest.
Yeah.
It's super not my strong suit.
Look, you guys hold your own a lot. I wasn't expecting anyone to take down the Traveler like you guys did, but there aren't many people on this continent that scare me. I'd say he does that job very well.
What about me?
You're up there. You're breaching the list. You're not quite there, but I mean, I'm still pretty sure I could take you, Pussycat, but
Oh, okay.
like, you're pretty. Don't get me wrong. You guys are very powerful. I don't like that I know his name now, because that feels like it's gonna make us a target, especially if he knows.
So, like, you're saying, like, putting on, like, say, a banner and hanging it off the back of the Rebel Yell and flying over the Capitol with that trailing off behind us would be bad.
I think. Well, I mean, even if we could fly the ship over the Capitol, which we couldn't, even if you could do that and did do that, yeah, I don't think that ship would be flying for very much longer after that.
So I'm hearing Plan B.
I mean, maybe move it down the list a bit. Like, at least Plan F for we're fucked. Look, I don't know a lot about Imperial politics, but I do know that, like, when people, like, heads of the, the 10 pillars or family members of the 10 pillars, like, die like that, it's like a big deal. And nobility, I mean, it's all part of that fucking espionage game that they all love. But something tells me that if he's on the board as a completely different piece now, he probably doesn't want it advertised who he is.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I mean,
Yeah.
as scary as he is right now, he's in control right now. I don't know if I want to see him, like, losing it, if that makes sense. Like that he scares me right now while leashed in whatever. I mean, he's not really leashed, but while, in full faculties. If he goes into, like, a blind rage because we suddenly start airing his dirty laundry out, that's yeah, I don't know. I'd be on the first boat off this continent if I found out that that's what's happening.
All right, noted.
Lord Edwards has just been kind of watching this whole exchange, like, listening, and speaks in your guys' heads again. I don't really get what the problem is here. I mean, Vandrin died, I mean, years back, but yeah, I guess it would have been more years than I'm thinking. Damn. I mean, he died, like, a while back, but it wasn't scandalous, or it wasn't like he was assassinated or anything. Supposedly he just got way too drunk and died of alcohol poisoning.
Huh.
Hmm.
Interesting.
At least that was the rumor. I mean, I wasn't really friends with the kid. I mean, he's younger than me, but I didn't really know him that well. I wouldn't say I was close with his brother, but I mean, that was my generation. So
yeah, so if we're assuming that it's still the same guy, he fakes his own death and becomes the most, works his way up the ladder of, like, assassins and behind the scenes political control.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it could be the wrong guy. I mean, I haven't seen him. I'm just kind of going off of your guys' description, and it sounds a lot like him, at least an aged up version. But if he was doing all of that from the shadows, that would be the biggest upset to Imperial politics in centuries.
Right. We're assuming this is partially me and partially Dross sort of non social awareness, but the assumption is that he is going to reveal his lineage at an opportune time to probably take power, or is that
Oh, I'm assuming he's just trying to, like, burn the whole thing down, right? I don't think his whole plan to like bring
Sure, yeah, I guess you're
like
right. With
printing
Yeah,
the
I'm
new
not-
power generation back to
Yeah.
the plane,
Yeah.
or it's gonna
I'm not sure if
end
he
in
wants
like,
anyone knowing.
or he maybe just doesn't give a shit. Like at this point, what's Good's
Yeah.
gonna do to tell people who he is? Like he seems pretty confident that the ball's already rolling on his like end of days agenda. So I mean, he'll probably be pissed, but I mean, do we just say? I mean, our like fireproof shit should be about done, right? So
you
do
guys
we
actually
just-
collected that before going into
Oh, that's right.
the hole.
Yeah, we're good. That's our next stop, I think.
Yeah, the only thing you guys were still waiting on, the upgrades for the stealth system to the Rebel Yell still have about a day to complete.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
We should tell them to hurry.
Or we could take that day and read this fucking book, and I could get more handsome and charismatic.
Well, either way, I still need a week.
Yeah, he's looking pretty rough. I like pat him on the back.
Ow.
A week for what?
Oops.
Yeah, you pat him on the back and he full on like moves forward 2 steps.
Oops.
Why do you need so long?
For those that don't remember, I cast the wish spell and I failed the roll and lost 10 points in my strength. And I need
Yeah.
7
Yeah, he is.
days to recover.
Yeah, he has a strength of 3 right now.
So why you ran off and left your sister in the dungeon while you escaped?
Well, no. But we needed to go.
We did need to go. I could get out just fine.
Ingrid kind of chimes in here again. It's probably not a bad idea to take some time, rest up. I mean, you guys got a whole bunch of shit from the Commandant's office. Maybe go through that. I mean, Edward and I obviously have to recover, and there's still old Elfie that needs to heal up a bit so you can find out whatever the hell his deal is.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a shit ton of new people here that probably need to be debriefed and shit. I'm assuming you have people for that, but for some of that. But
Fuck yeah, we do.
I don't know. It seems like you guys are kind of the head honchos now.
Fuck yeah, we are.
We're
Well-
in charge.
Congrats.
We tell everybody
make-
what to do.
Make sure your people not to or known that I'm on your guys' side now, because I'm sure there's probably a wanted poster or 2 out there.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm sure.
I don't really get the impression that these guys were doing too much before we started working with them. So
Also fair. Yeah, I mean, I'd say take some time, go through your shit, consolidate everything, and see how things are looking in a couple days.
Okay.
Not that I'm telling you what to do, obviously. I'm fucking tired, and I mean, I'm sure everyone else probably is to some degree.
Oh yeah, you're probably beat. You've been down in that dungeon for a while.
Yeah, sleep will be nice. More than an hour of sleep at a time will be nice. So the sooner you guys get the hell out of here and read those books, the sooner I can take a fucking nap.
Let's get to reading then.
Yep.
All right.
I can't read. I don't know what to do.
It's magic. It's like a picture book when you look at it.
Yeah, it'll be just a little story.
Is that true?
Tez, give me a D20 luck check. I'm gonna I for the sake of this, someone said it, so now I have to see if it's gonna happen. There is one of the books, specifically the book on, well, the 2 books, the Strength and Constitution ones, both of which have more pictures in them than the other books do.
Oh, good. I found a couple with more pictures than the others. I can look at these really intensely.
Yeah, so essentially, there's obviously 6 of you in 6 books. Once the book is read, I think it loses its power. So
Yeah, for like 25 years or something.
yeah, so you guys can divvy up whoever wants a stat boost in whatever stat. You can pick one and have it.
Is it to a maximum of 20, or can you go over 20?
You go
It goes
over
over
20 with these.
20.
Yeah, these are one of the few items that will be. They are guaranteed to go over 20.
And even if you're not raising the ability score, it raises your threshold by 2. So even if you're like, if your strength is 18 and you raise it to 20, it bumps your ceiling to 22.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that ceiling is permanent. So
My goodness.
Damn.
So yeah, I think for some of you it's probably a little obvious which books might get taken, but just figured I'd ask: is there like anyone know for sure what books they're grabbing?
I think that leadership and influence tome is fucking Colin Finn's name.
Sounds about right.
The Dex one sounds good for me.
I'll go with the wisdom one.
Can never be too smart.
I'm looking really hard at the strength one. The one with the big muscles on the front. I'm looking really hard at it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's between the paladin and the barbarian who's getting stronger and who's getting a little hardier.
And I'm giving him a look. I'm trying to gauge him. What's he thinking?
I'll get more hardier.
Are you sure? I'll trade if you want. They're both really cool.
I
No,
will
no,
point
you-
out
you
that
need
the
to get more
Constitution
stronger.
one. I will point out that the Constitution one, Tez, because you're a barbarian, that's an AC bump for you, in addition to hit points.
Oh.
Ooh. Mm.
What do you
Just-
think? I like both.
Not to influence decisions, I'm merely pointing out the mechanics of the barbarian class.
We can stick to the original plan if you want. What do you think?
I'll let you take the Constitution one.
Okay, I'll take that one. That
All right.
won't hurt one bit.
Yep, and
I'm
almost like
already very
magic.
strong.
There's a lot of like pictographs and images and stuff in this one, diagrams of like how to control your breathing better.
Oh.
But it's like at one point you even see, not that you guys would have an understanding, almost like a CPR diagram.
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm gonna learn CPR.
Whatever that is.
What is that?
What the hell is CPR?
What's your P?
Yeah, what is this? The Manual of Bodily Health? Yeah, Manual of Bodily Health. All right, so yeah, so all of you, for 48, or you have to spend a period of 48 hours over a period of 6 days, assuming like you get a decent amount of sleep during any of that time. So decent amount of downtime during that. Are you guys just wanting to get started on the process, or are you wanting to try and like book it through, like essentially just hunker down for the next week and get this taken care of?
No, I mean, Taylor's laid up for a week, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Taylor's got a
Yeah.
week of recovery ahead of him anyway.
This seems like a good opportunity, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
Sounds like that's our week.
Yeah, we're gonna get reading.
We're gonna read. We're
Okay.
gonna read pictures.
Are you guys going now? Gross is probably used to this, given, I mean, late night cram sessions would absolutely be a thing at the academy. How long do you guys think your characters would be able to do, like actually just sitting down, only focusing on reading, per day?
Oh fuck, I don't know. Depends on how high I was.
If everyone wants to give me, if everyone, you know what? If you guys want to leave this a chance, I'll give it. Everyone gets a D20. And
Oh.
actually, you know what? No, let's do this a little bit better. So, assuming 8 hours a day, if everyone wants to roll 2d8,
Okay.
and we'll call that like an ADHD roll.
I read 5 hours a
That's so
day.
real.
I read pictures.
Dros, for the record,
Yay.
Dros is the only one exempt from this because I imagine Dros doing like 16 hours a day of reading is like
It's
par
nothing.
for the course, like pre-graduation level shit.
Yeah, I would probably say so. And that's
I do have-
I mean,
An Eldritch Invocation to help me concentrate better.
You know what? That's true. You do. I
That's pretty
roll
cool.
another d8 on there. It doesn't. It's not mechanically. It wouldn't work for this, but I'm making up ADHD rules as I go, so we're gonna count it. All right. So, reasonably speaking, the rolls you guys got, it kind of. I mean, honestly, it kind of balances out. For some of you guys, the more active-minded ones are having trouble sitting still for that long. Yeah. So, reasonably speaking, you guys are able to sit still and get through about that much per day. I'd say if you want to roll another d8 on top of that, you can take a level of exhaustion that you'll suffer at the end of that week, and then just have to sleep to get rid of it. But I will allow that if you guys want to push through that.
You said 48 hours?
Yep, 48 hours total. So, just judging by the math for some of you, for a resident ranger, it's going to be 8 days at least, but you are already looking at a week anyway, so what's one more day? Most of you can get through at least during that week. Tez is most of the way through learning CPR by the end of that week.
Oh, good.
Not quite there, but getting there. You figured out how the arrows pointing on the diagram work. So once you figured that out, things went a lot faster.
Oh, good.
But yeah, so it's going to take most of you. Yeah, some of you, it's really not going to take long at all. I think it really is just. Yeah, it's just Taylor and Tez. So, question for you two then.
Oh.
Realizing towards the end of that week, because we're going to fast track this downtime a little bit. Realizing towards the end of that week that you're still not quite there, would you devote more time, keep to the same level of pace going into the end days of that?
I would try really hard, and I would ask Drost for help. I'd say, Drost, come here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, throughout the week, if I'm finished with mine, I mean, I don't know that I would effectively be able to help anyone, but I do what I can. I also wouldn't want to somehow leech the magic from the book away from them.
For the purposes of this, we're going to say that giving study tips and essentially how to focus down when reading through big tomes like this isn't going to leech the magic. Let's call it an intelligence saving throw. Those don't get used often enough.
Okay, I'm not smart.
Not for Tez. Sorry, for Drost.
Oh,
okay. Intelligence saving throw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Applying to your strengths. This is something. I mean, Drost would be fairly comfortable in, learning how to learn stuff on a deadline.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, I'm gonna say, since you literally get yours done in 3 days, Drost. You can use the other 4 days and apply your 16 hours per day to anyone who needs help.
Oh, wow. I would divvy it up between if anyone wants help, whoever needs it.
I need a lot of help.
For the record, that's an extra 64 hours of help that you can divvy out.
Oh goodness.
Right.
So and that's by day 3 that you're done. So going into day 4, Tez would be what, 15? He'd still be in the 30s.
Yeah, I mean, I could easily give
32 hour. It would take 32 hours to help Tez on the dot, or 33 hours, but we're gonna fudge it for math's sake. And for Taylor, it would be just about that as well.
Taylor, what's wrong with you?
But you can absolutely 2 days into that, 3 days into this process of this week, you get done. You take 2 days, help Tez get through everything, or get him far enough along that he'll finish in the week.
Yeah,
and then you go and spend the other 2 days with Taylor.
Yeah, knowing that there's still the rest, 3-4 days left, I would help, knowing where we're at in the book.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Given that two of you have to spend the entire time studying, Drost, I'm not going to count this as like you spend your entire downtime for that week doing that because, I mean, you're essentially just being a tutor. And that, I mean, yeah, you're devoting quite a bit of time to it, but it's not a massive undertaking on your part, at least. So with that, Tyler, Finn, Loki, and Drost, is there anything during this second half of the week that you guys would be doing during this downtime? Like any leads you're following up on, people you're talking to, investigating, anything like that?
I mean, if any of the like people that we rescued come around, I'd probably pop by and see what's up.
Go ahead and
Since
give
I read
me...
my book super fast.
You did read your book super fast. Give me a d20 check. Let's see.
I'd like to join him.
Yeah, both of you go ahead and give me a d20 checks. Okay. As you guys are basically just kind of making yourselves available after your study periods, not necessarily like going out seeking anyone, but just, you know, making sure it's aware, like everyone's aware, like if any of the prisoners or anything want to talk. You guys end up having a couple of meetings with like some of the non-violent prisoners and stuff that were in there. You get the sense very quickly that a lot of the like generic prisoners that were in the holding cells that weren't violent criminals, obviously, tended to be like just political dissidents. You get a lot of people who were like writing and posting like memos or even just making like talking about rumors and stuff in taverns that got overheard and Peacekeeper snatched them up. Unfortunately, it happens a lot, so there were quite a number of them, but some of them do still have like lives that they want to go back to leading, although they're not sure if they can. So you get quite a few petitions about like, can we stay here while it's safe? You know, things like that. A couple people wanting to know if, like, we being held here against our will, or are we allowed to leave? Which very quickly raises like a security question with your guys' council. And it's, after like a day of that happening, it's made known like the council wants to meet with you guys, whoever's available. So I'm assuming you two would go.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, you two go to the council meeting there, and the rest of the heads of like the organizations here, the head of defense is basically just like, so with this influx of people, specifically non-fighting people, what do we want to do about them? Those who want to go home, because obviously we're a active rebellion fighting against an empire who would do just about anything to know where our secret base is.
Yeah. That's probably... I mean, can... what's his name? Like, wipe their memory?
That's what I was just about to ask.
Avandre is there, and he chimes in. I can do it. I'd rather not, because it's a bit not my favorite tactic, but it can be done. It would take quite a bit of time just on the numbers we have right now of those who want to go home. If we can get more resources, there's only a certain amount of people who know the spell and are capable of casting it, but
I mean, I guess these motherfuckers don't know where we are, right?
I was just
Like-
going to say that. We can just
teleport them away.
underground.
Yeah, we just let them go. Like, yeah, that's fine.
that would be a better option.
I mean, the Empire knows we have a base somewhere, or I assume they do. They don't, they're fucking idiots.
We shouldn't let them walk out the front door, but
No,
Yeah,
we'd
don't
have
let
to
'em go
move.
Yeah.
there. Take them
That
far
could
away
work.
and release them.
teleport
That-
them to their nearest like city of choosing or whatever if they need to get out.
I do know of a couple teleportation circles. It'd be easy enough to just keep ritually casting it and sending people as they want.
Yeah, I mean,
That might certainly would be a better. It would be less of a security concern, and you see the head of defense just kind of like, yeah, it absolutely would be. Well, we can certainly handle that part at least.
I mean, is it safe for some of these people to go back?
That
Like,
is,
they weren't in prison for the fuck of it. I'm assuming they were locked up for a reason.
Right, them being out.
Yeah, I don't know
Ghost
if
isn't
there's
there.
any way to get them back here. If things go bad.
Yeah, the head of the defense just like, yeah, that is kind of the other part of it. Some people are wanting to try and make their way home, if only to make contact with their loved ones, make sure they're all right, and you know, they're. Every time someone has asked me about it, I've always made sure that they're like aware of the risks of doing that. I don't want to imprison them because they're not prisoners of ours.
Right.
But I want to make sure that they understand. Like, if you go home, that's entirely possible. Another peacekeeper's just going to scoop you up and drop you back there.
Mhm.
And those who have expressed enough interest in wanting to do so seem to be aware of that. So I don't want to stop them. Those who don't want to go and are wanting safe haven pose a different issue, because we are starting very quickly to run out of room, and while we just had an influx of supplies, those supply routes are not inexhaustible. If we keep even half of the people that we just took in from that prison, we're going to run out of food faster than we can replace it.
Hmm.
So that begs the question, what do we want to do about that? We don't necessarily want to start raiding, since, I mean, the only significant food growers within raiding distance, what should be considered raiding distance, would be those more aligned with our cause than the Imperials. So, and
Yeah.
it seems like a very slippery slope if we start pressing on them, even not even raiding, just pressing on them to provide more. Seems like it's going to cause issues fairly quickly and turn them against us. We don't want to invite them to have a reason to suddenly pass along any meeting times over to, peacekeepers who might just fork over some gold for that info.
Well, I mean, can we just pay him? Didn't we get like a dickload of money?
They all kind of look. It was our understanding you got that gold. If you're wanting to donate some of that to it, that would certainly help things, but we haven't been treating that as our gold.
Oh. Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I
That seems
figure,
like a conversation you might want to have amongst your group.
yeah.
If that would certainly help things, but we're not, forgive me for saying it, we're not going to assume that is going to be given to us, just to be safe.
No, that's fair.
So, we have, Avandre's kind of spoken with me a bit about potentially setting up some more housing down in the ruins, or at least starting to set a foothold there. The problem is just, to do so, we'd have to pull back some of our military units from the field in order to help clear that down there. So we wanted to get your opinion on if you think that's a worthwhile use of resources to try and clear a landing for additional housing. Cornelia has assured me that some of the area down there also could be used for additional fungus farming, so we could help alleviate some of the food issues as well down there by clearing space. But we don't want to compromise any potential military operations by making that choice without you.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? I'm cool with clearing some more space, right?
Yeah, I'm for it. I think being safe, being smart is better than anything else right now.
We can do that. We'll pull some of our hunters. We want to keep still a secure perimeter around us to make sure we have plenty of warning in case anything comes, but some of the more far-ranging ones, we can certainly pull them. Just be in mind that if anything, I don't know what your plans are here in the next week, but if you make any major moves out towards Elvenon, we won't have anyone there that can respond in a quick manner. So,
Good to
like,
know.
we had a force out there. One of the forces we're going to pull is most of the group that has been patrolling around Elvenon and the Verdant Bay. We'll still leave some there for reconnaissance purposes, but I believe a couple of them were aided by Loki in chasing down some stragglers from your ambush. Most of that force will get pulled back for this duty.
I think that's fine, right? I mean, at that point, if they haven't caught the people from the ambush, they're not gonna.
Oh, they got the people from that, but it's just we try to keep response forces in certain hotbed areas like that. So it's
Yeah.
we'd essentially be downgrading it from like being able to send you reinforcements to just having someone around that can observe and give you info.
Mhm.
We'll be doing the same with our agents to the southwest, closer to where the forest ends towards Corda. We don't have as strong of a force out there, but just in case someone moved that way, we'll be pulling most of them as well for this. But
All right.
I mean, once they're back here, send them down, take a couple days, and we should have more than enough housing and some extra space for fungus farming. And Cornelia kind of chips in. It'll only take me a couple of days to get the funguses going after that.
Well, that
Good
sounds
to know.
good.
So even with the donation of any of that gold that you have would help, but doing this now that we have your approval on it, it won't be as dire. In the Overseer Defense Birchwood, I finally found it in my notes. Also raises the question: do we want to vet some of these people and put them to work?
I think so.
Are we just keeping it?
Yeah, if they're willing to.
Torol and Pike before him always kind of had a relatively open door policy regarding refugees. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed that not everyone here is a soldier for the revolution, but we have plenty of support staff and things like that, and some of them are just families of those who are here working. Which that also raises the question of if anyone does join us, are we willing to take in their families?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're spinning space, I'd say go for it, right?
Yeah. If they're putting in work, their family should be with them.
It will be done.
Plus, it gives them one less angle if they compromise somebody.
True.
Well, that ends up being most of that meeting. They don't have a whole lot other than that. It was kind of the pressing concerns that they wanted to go over. Trying to see who else would have wanted to talk to. Tyler, after probably a day after that meeting, Brenda, the dwarf bartender from the Den of the Lights, comes to find you. Well, hey, Sugar.
Hey, how goes it?
A lot better now that I'm not being tortured.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. I know, it's kind of weird because they dragged me in there thinking I knew you. I mean, they were also asking about Molly, but they also, asked about you guys, and, I'm not just so you know, I don't blame you for that, but it felt like I feel like I need to say thank you and also feel weird about that.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Not look. It's fine. I wasn't looking for an apology. I just wanted to let you guys know that was happening, and I'm glad that whatever fate decided that you guys were going to be the ones liberating us. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to help.
Yeah. You wanna get a drink?
I would love to get a drink.
You guys go and get a drink. And very quickly, Brenda shows that she's still. I mean, I'm not even going to make you roll an insight check, especially since you just finished your fucking wisdom book. You're picking up every signal that she's laying down.
All right.
So
I'll catch him.
Fair enough. Yeah. What Tyler chooses to do with those signals, I'll leave up to you. But you find very quickly that whatever, just based on signal, she's down. She's down for it, even though that Molly's not here. So. And at some point, for you, Finn, you get met by a young or younger-ish looking, even though he's probably older than you, elvish noble, Ikra Trenicel, the elf noble who got taken shows up. Master Finn,
Mhm.
I have a moment.
It's actually General Finn, but go on.
General Finn, my apologies. I'm not too sure on everyone's title here or anything like that.
That's kind of made it up. It's cool. What's up?
I just wanted to say thank you for freeing us. It seemed like you guys already knew my identity when you rolled up to the prison.
Yeah, you were low key one of the reasons we went. We kind of needed your family and your connections to help us, like, you know, light a match.
That
Let's see.
That makes sense. I just wanted to let you know I appreciate that. I can't guarantee any like what support will come from my family. I'm sure that I'm at least hoping that they're very upset about my being taken. I guess I won't know until I get back, but anything that I can do, I will try to do to help.
Works for me.
So, just wanted to let you guys know that. Do we know, like, I know there's been some kind of muttering amongst some of the other like freed prisoners about maybe sending them home via teleportation. Is that what's going to happen with me, or?
I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to go home?
I mean, I probably should at some point. I'm
I get
planning.
that.
I'm going to try and snag one of those mages running around and see if I can't at least get like a message sent to my father and let him know I'm alive. I don't know what
that should
rumors
be
they were
doable.
saying, but I'm assuming it was probably not great about my survival. So,
I mean, yeah, I think everybody's fairly certain you were dead or not coming back. So, but it's cool.
well, I'm glad I'm not dead. But yeah, I'm more than willing to try and see if I can help out and get family approval. No promises, but I'm trying.
Okay.
Did I hear a rumor that there was a old elf that was also recovered?
Yep.
Do you happen to know like who he is or anything like that?
No fucking clue. He was passed out last time I saw. I don't know. We can go. I'll go check around.
Fair enough. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine many elves being like or being important enough to put down there. So if you need any, like, if he ends up being a haughtier, like elven noble, let me know. I hate that I have to say this, but a lot of my kind tend to be better in dealing with my own kind than others. So
That's cool. I obviously can't speak. I can't comment on the inherent racism of our given race, since humans seem to be kind of the worst. So it's cool.
Every race seems to have its bad eggs, in my experience.
Yeah, I know the Empire being chiefly human is a fairly big bad egg.
Not unfortunately wrong. I was also kind of curious. Was there any word about the young man I was with the night I was taken?
Yeah, squirrely fucker. Yeah, he went home. He got teleported out.
Oh, well, good for him. Glad he's alive, I guess. I wasn't really sure
We
what was
found
going
him.
to happen
He
that
was
night.
hiding out. They tried to, I think, blame him for, trying to kill you.
I swear, the propagandists. He and I were having a perfectly good time. We bonded over cards. I'm pretty sure he was cheating, but I don't know that for certain. All I do know is that he was willing to buy me a drink after I gave him the look that I think he was cheating. So, I mean, I was willing to overlook that.
I can see that. Yeah, no, I'll check on that dude. I'll see what's up.
I mean, no, don't have to, but I appreciate it. Seemed interesting.
Honestly,
so
you might have some insight into that dude anyway, so it's definitely worth checking out.
You know what? Go ahead and give me a persuasion check, Finn.
I'm still working on.
I'd say this is a little farther in the week, so if you want to add your bonus to it, you absolutely can. So
I'll make that 18. If it's
18. he kind of thinks a little bit. And he's like, I don't know if I'd have anything profound about him, but he seemed like the type who liked to make a joke about at his own expense, but mostly to try and detract away from anyone paying attention to him. Like shine the light on my warts and sores and things so that nobody notices whatever my left hand's doing. That type
Nice.
of take the hint. So
Yep. I
yeah.
had a buddy that dressed up as something for Halloween, and he put a cucumber down the front of his pants to hide from his actual penis that you could also see through his costume. So, same
Oh.
page as you there, buddy.
Fair enough. Yeah. That was the insight I got on him. Don't know if it helps, but I mean, I guess I'll wait to hear what you guys are doing as far as all of that, and we'll figure out the teleportation situation.
Yep. No, like I said, they're working on a plan to teleport everybody who doesn't want to stick around back home. Though, just obviously, be aware you got arrested for a reason. So
Yes,
there's a good chance you'll be going back to be like right in the line of fire again. It'd be a real waste of time.
If I'm able to get to my family's
pinched.
estate fast enough, I think I'll be safe. But I appreciate the warning. But like I said, I'm gonna try and get one of the mages in contact with my father beforehand. So.
Oh yeah.
But appreciate it, and he goes to shake your hand.
Yep. I'll shake his hand.
He walks away.
And then I guess I'll go check on that old elf dude and see if that dude's back up.
All right. Give me a D20 luck check here. There's going to be quite a few of these in this downtime session because as riveting as it is to deal with, sometimes medical shit just takes a while.
Yeah.
12. When you go to check on him, he's back asleep again. But you check in with the nurse he's basically in like their version of an ICU ward, like people who, regularly getting hurt on the front lines and stuff like that immediately brought here for priority treatment. The nurse has been kind of tending him, kind of talks with you. So he wakes up for a couple hours a day. It's weird because elves don't sleep, but he definitely is.
Yeah.
He is, if it isn't obvious, he's severely dehydrated, starving. Like, the fact that he's alive is a testament to the elves' just unnatural, constitution, which is, you wouldn't think that they're naturally like that, but, they're a whole people that doesn't sleep, so they gotta survive off something. Anyway, he wakes up for, bits and pieces during the day, but it's mostly just sleeping. Not in the talking stage yet, other than asking for water. I think his vocal cords are still having to be repaired, even with the spells we've been pouring into him. Not talking and not having any kind of liquid in your system for gods know how long it took its toll.
I can see that. They weren't gentle.
Yeah,
on those dudes.
She just kind of looks at him. Look, we've always known that the Empire is heartless, but look at him. And, you get that kind of look again. It's just, this is a dude who is nothing but skin and bones. Like, there's little to no muscle on any part of his body. He's practically a zombie for all intents and purposes. As you're kind of looking him over, and she's just like, I could not imagine doing that to the worst of my enemies.
Oh, I don't know. There's a couple people I wouldn't mind doing that too. Like that Emperor dude. So the Blade, he seems kind of like a big dick. He'd be fun to stick in a box in a hole in the ground for a couple years.
Well, I suppose that's why I'm on support staff and not out there with you guys fighting.
Yeah. I get it though. No, I mean it's a pretty fucked up thing to do. I was 100% sure when I picked that dude up he was gonna like break.
Surprised he didn't, honestly. Can't imagine he has much calcium left in his bones.
No, he's a big bag of mush.
Well, if he starts recovering enough that he can talk or anything like that, we'll be sure to let you guys know first thing. I'm sure he's going to want to talk to you guys.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right. You head off from there. Loki. You big hunkin' piece of lizard meat. What are you doing?
I'm just sitting around chilling.
Yeah, nothing major important going on during the downtime?
No. Not really.
Okay. Towards the end of the week, as you're just kind of like sitting around, you see a little kid comes up to you, a little kobold kid. Just kind of looks at you. Why are you green? Hey, mister. Why are
Yes,
you
kid.
green?
I was born this way.
Oh. Why?
Because I'm a dragonborn.
Oh, that's cool. So you're like a dragon?
Kinda. Yes.
Kinda. Is that why you don't have wings?
Yes, that is why I don't have wings.
It'd be cooler if you had wings.
He's not wrong.
But you're still cool, and he just kind of wanders off. About an hour later. Has Loki moved from that spot?
Yes.
Give me a stealth check real quick. Guess what, motherfucker? I'm making everyone take part in this downtime. I will drag you into role-playing if I have to. Well, yeah. You're a fairly imposing dude in your plate armor. You find a new spot that you don't think you're gonna get bothered, and you kind of like sit down. You're like almost the way off to a nap, and then you hear, "Hey, mister!" And you look up, and now there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
Oh no. They're multiplying.
Oh, great.
Hey, mister!
Yeah.
What's that you have on your back? And he points at the handle of your axe.
It's my weapon. It's a battle axe.
Can we see it?
Sure.
This can't possibly go bad.
What exactly do you do? Do you like just pull it out for them to see it, or what do you do?
I literally pull it out for them to see it, and I hold on to it.
They all like crowd up right on top of it. None of them try to touch it, but like swarming around you are these 4 little kobold kids, just like noses all like an inch away from the haft of the axe, going, "Oh, have you killed people with it?"
Yes, I have.
One of the kobold kids looks at the other one and goes, "That's so cool." Does it
No.
do like magic shit?
No, it does not.
Oh, all of them collectively sigh. Does it do anything else special? Do you make it do something special?
No, I did that. No.
Collectively. Oh. Well, that's lame. And then all of them they just run off. Three hours later. I'm kidding. Actually, you know what? No. Give me a D20 check. Give me a D20 luck check. Okay. I'm gonna pose this question then because you rolled that. Would Loki continue just finding a different spot, or would Loki full on make sure he is 100% unavailable?
I would try to make myself 100% unavailable.
Okay. On a natural 20 on a luck check, you go and find a spot in an unclaimed tent and just like relax and chill, and you can hear the sounds of the kids and it outside the tent, and it sounds like there's more of them. A lot more, like exponentially more than there were the last time. And you hear the little ringleader going, "He can't have gotten far, he's huge." And one of the other ones goes, "I don't know, he didn't seem very friendly. Like I don't know." One of the other ones, "Do you think he'd kill us if we keep bugging him?" Another one, "He's not that mean, right? I mean, he's here. Right? All the soldiers here are good people, right?"
Did I notice Loki hiding from these kids?
You have a stupid high passive perception, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you probably would have noticed. Yeah, you probably would notice.
I absolutely would have pointed out where he was hiding every time he hid.
I'm gonna say, Loki, give me a one more stealth check.
Are we kids looking for Loki again? I just saw him in that tent over there.
Yeah, with that stealth check, yeah, Loki, he has given you. Finn, you called out, and you just watch 32 of these little kobold kids all look at you, going, "He is," and they all turn and look at the tent. They all like
do the little finger wave at Loki as the kids run towards him.
Well, Loki's like inside the tent, like the tent flaps are closed and everything.
I'll wait until they find him and he pops his head out and wonders how the hell they found him.
What you watch is there's no other way to describe it other than piranha behavior. They all surround the tent, these 32 little kobold children, and none of them move. They all just watch.
Oh no.
The ringleader kind of walks up and he knocks on the tent pole. "Mr. Loki, are you in there?" They wait for a minute. "Mister?"
How sturdily anchored is this tent?
They're fairly sturdy tents. These are all they're fairly well anchored. The soft ground here means they kind of have to be. So
like Elvis would Bill like grab the top of the tent and fly up.
No, he would not. not without a 1 in 20 chance of that happening. So,
yeah,
Loki, I'm assuming you don't respond.
I will just passively troll.
I do not respond right away.
Okay. You hear a couple of the other ones. These kids, after they wait like 5-10 minutes, they're kids. They're impatient. They wait a little longer than you'd probably expect, but then a couple of them go, "Lewis, he's not as cool as you said he was," and you hear a couple of them start shuffling off. And then more and more.
Okay. For one, as soon as I hear the one kid say that I walk out.
As soon as you hear the sounds of him, you hear him say that, and then he starts walking out. You immediately come out, and you see there's a group of 6 of them that are all walking away, and they stop and they turn around. Whoa! The ringleader there is just kind of like, "See, I told you he looks cool. Hi, Mr. Loki.
Hi, kid.
Can you tell them that you killed someone with your axe?"
Yes, I have. I've killed monsters too.
Whoa! 32 of them surrounding you. Whoa! What else have you killed?
Bad guys.
Ooh. What kind of bad guys?
Let's see. There's been murderers. There's been some really bad guys that did some really, really bad stuff to kids.
What kind of bad stuff to kids?
You are all too young to know that.
Nuh-uh. They all say
Yes.
in unison.
Yes.
We're all 4 years old. Loki, you're aware.
Jesus, Loki. Take it easy.
For the record, Loki, you're aware that 4 years old in kobold years is like 20 in human.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware.
Oh.
Like, how many bad guys did you kill?
Okay, I got one question, Corey.
Mhm.
Before this keeps on going, where is the closest clearing to where no one is at?
I'd say you could probably find a clearing a good couple 100 feet away from where you currently are. There's like a little like stump from some vegetation that had been grown and chopped down for wood. But the area around it hasn't been used yet for tents or anything.
Okay.
What would you like to do? As they ask, how many bad guys have you killed?
So, will y'all kids leave me alone if I show you something really awesome that I can do?
Kendall, I'm going to have your big bad anti-hero PC give me a persuasion check real quick to talk these little kids into leaving him the fuck alone. If he tells them a cool story or shows them something cool. You watch as 32 little heads just nod up and down.
Okay. Follow me.
Okay, and you start walking towards that clearing with a literal army behind you. By the time you make it to that stump, you turn around and suddenly there's not 32 of them, there's somewhere in the 40s. More have somehow been acquired.
Okay. I need you all to stand behind me.
Okay.
Do
They all
not
stand and
move.
they form like a crescent moon behind you, just watching.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you something that only Dragonborns can do, guys. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to do this once. That's it. And then leave me alone.
Okay.
Okay. I proceed to turn around and use my breath weapon.
Okay. You use your acid breath weapon and you fully melt this stump down in a torrent of green violent acid. And you want, like, as soon as you're done, spit whatever's left in your mouth out, wipe your lips, you turn around, all of these, now up to 50 kobold kids, looking at you with eyes wide. Like that was the coolest shit they've ever seen. Be a Dragonborn? No, I want to be a Dragonborn. I'm a Dragonborn. And they all start just bickering and they walk away. For the next month and a half, you're going to be, all of you are going to end up seeing little kobold kids running around playing Dragonborn and Dragonborn.
Yes.
Oh.
And you are able to then finally get a fucking nap. All right. Hey, Drosty.
Yeah.
Downtime. Other than helping educate the two. I mean, I don't want to call them dunces, but
Miracle worker and fucking Tez
Yeah.
teaching him how to read.
It's probably not the first
You know
time.
what?
Knock
Tez
some
can't
fucking
read.
smarts into him.
Tez, give me an intelligence check real quick.
I wish I was playing with those little kobold children. Okay. It's not gonna be good. Okay.
Okay, never mind. You for
Oh.
towards the end of that week, you think you understand how reading works, and it turns
Okay.
out you don't.
I can read.
Turns out you might only be fluent in diagrams now.
Drost, I can read, right? I can read.
Yes. Yeah, you can, Tez.
I tell everyone I can read. And then I say,
Congratulations!
Oh my
You eventually
god.
have a
told
small
me.
group of kobold children. No, I'm kidding.
Drew said I can read, so I can. I'm as smart as him. Well, maybe
I
not.
wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
So, Drost, when you're not educating those in remedial common, what would Drost be trying to accomplish during downtime, if anything?
I guess so. In any of my passing interactions with the other folks, I would ask who's like how I'm not familiar with most of the people we saved from the pit. So I would kind of try to get the gist of that from everyone, and also ask, like, are we, like, do we want to fully avail them of everything we know about the blade in order of, like, sharing notes, or are we kind of just going off of what we can get out of them? Because the interaction with the blade and him, like, forcing his way into the prison has got Drost unnerved at best. Like, I know, there's lots of, like, just from my passive knowledge of magic, like, he's got connections for true resurrection. He's got the ability to teleport ridiculous amounts of gold through a coin thing. All these things that are pretty impressive and pretty concerning. And now he's pretty pissed off at us, but sort of like through Drost. So a little one eye open at all times.
Understandably so, yeah. I think Drost would know, just based on that kind of connection, and that presence that you kind of felt when the control of the prison was being, like, wrested away from you. You've had experience mentally dueling with other wizards in the academy. I mean, the academy didn't necessarily teach combat magic or how to invade another person's mind or anything like that. That takes a little more, like, it's more practical knowledge, and the the downsides and side effects of doing that to people are a very clear indication of, like, why
Right.
you wouldn't it's not something you would practice because of that. It's more of a understand the theory, and then if you have to put it into practice, then do so. But you've had, like, brief mental exchanges with other wizards and stuff before, and you don't think you've ever felt a presence as, like, daunting or overpowering as you did when he was pulling that away from you.
Yeah,
Like,
so even more of a reason to be, like,
yeah, the
kinda
like
stuck
the scale
on.
of magnitude that you felt beyond him or coming from him, uh yeah, I think you're right. Drost would probably be a little shaken up by that. I mean, even your
Oh, yeah,
instructors, like, this dude dwarfs all of your teachers. If you had to take a wild guess, like, 100%.
sure. Um, so yeah, I think, like, the thing that Drost would be kind of focusing on in this time would be, I would try to, um because I guess he's probably not picking up directly on the concerns that everyone has in the politics, and why him faking his own death or whatever he did um to become the blade why that's so, what the ramifications of that are, why they're so impactful. And I guess I would have conversations with I can't remember the guy's name who knew him by description.
Lord Edward.
So I mean, I would ask the rest of the group how we feel about sharing all of everything that we know about him with, like, particularly the prince situation. But I would be curious in what he thinks about that. Holy shit.
No, that's okay. That's fine.
Sorry, people are lighting fireworks on right outside our house.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Anyhow, yeah, I guess just trying to make any progress on what we're dealing with.
Well, it doesn't sound like anyone has any objections to it.
Yeah, if no one is opposed, I'd probably share.
I mean, unless somebody actively stopped Finn, he probably would have told everything to everybody who would listen.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
For
just not
sure.
sure how to. So yeah, I'd basically start off telling him about the Blades' main scheme of trying to summon Demogorgon, and obviously our concern with that, and see how he reacts.
When you start talking about the ties to the Mystics and Demogorgon and everything, he just kind of gets this like puzzled look as he's like trying to piece it together. He's like, and again, still all in your head telepathically. I mean, that doesn't really make sense with what I knew about him. I mean, he was kind of he died young. Like, he was like 16, 17 years old when he died. And he always kind of had the reputation of like an idiot. Just didn't do a lot with his life. He was the second son, so nothing was ever expected of him. Wasn't particularly like devoted to a craft or a skill or anything like that. I mean, and again, I didn't exactly have a lot of dealings with him, so couldn't tell if he was particularly devout or the type of reactionary to fall in with a bunch of cultists. It sounds like demonic cultists. So I mean, if that's what he's been doing now, I'm sure I'd be shocked if his family was aware of that.
Sure. I would ask him then, like, so can you walk me through the political concern and how that why? I mean, obviously we're concerned that he's trying to bring Demogorgon to our plane, or the Prince to our plane, but why are we so concerned politically with what he's potentially done?
He kind of thinks about it. He's like, I don't know politically that it matters a whole lot. I'm kind of new to this whole like thing that you guys have been doing for a while. From what it sounds like Ingrid had mentioned, it's not necessarily that there'd be like political backlash, but it would be bringing up something that for the rest of the 10 pillars was a matter settled a long time ago. Like, his death was ruled, technically, yeah, an accident. He got him, like, the rumor was that he went out, got stupid drunk, and passed out in a puddle, and no one found him. And that was kind of the end of it. I mean, the Imperial Guard looked into it with as much as they could. All of the resources of House Oakhart investigated it. There wasn't any, like, wrongdoing found on anyone's part. It was just he died, and that was the end of it. So,
Do you feel
I
like
don't-
maybe there was wrongdoing though? Like, think somebody like had him whacked? That's why he's so like hardcore on unleashing some fucking end of times monster to destroy the whole world.
that I wouldn't know, but I mean, I wouldn't. It's not because I don't think that there could be something wrongdoing. I mean, yeah, the idea behind his death sounds sketchy. That was why they did investigations into it, from what I remember. The idea that no one found him. I mean, he passed out in a puddle. Yeah, it was like 4 a.m. when he left the bar, but I mean, it's the capital. There's regular guard patrols. I mean, not knocking any other major cities in the empire, the capital is one of the few, like, rarely does anything go unnoticed by someone on the guard. There are eyes on just about every corner. So him finding the one puddle that no one was going to notice him in, yeah, a little suspicious. Whether that means it was wrongdoing or not, couldn't tell you, but
Or
The
he faked
image-
his own death.
that
Right,
the other
that's
side of it, like-
kind of what I was thinking. Is he, staged it?
that would
to
almost seem more
create
likely based on
his
what you've told
alter
me about the
ego.
guy, because the image that you guys are painting of him and his abilities does not line up with what I know of him from when he was alive. And not to say he was active in court politics, but when he was at least present enough to be mentioned. So if it wasn't for the description that you gave, I almost wouldn't think it's the same person. So faking a death, maybe. I could easily see that.
What was the timeline? When was the last time that he had? Or yeah, when do we know when the death was? Does he know when the death was?
Yes. 1 second here. Just so I have all my information correctly.
I'd also, you could probably be after this conversation, but I'd also probably get in touch with my contact at the exchange, asking for any information on Vandrin Oakhart's death.
He says it would have been a couple of years before I was, abducted, essentially. So maybe 580? Was it after? He starts thinking, he's like,
So like almost 20 years ago.
yeah. Like I said, he's a couple years younger than me. I would have been, yeah, maybe 579 or so.
Sure. Yeah. So in the ballpark of 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Plenty of time for someone to fall into a cult and work their way up.
Exactly. So, like I said, it almost doesn't line up with what I know about the man. Especially, it's like, his brother was a good friend of me and Prince Lothario. So, I remember him being upset when his brother died, too. So, I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, again, it sounds like the guy. The description, very fitting. Just everything else about it seems odd, I guess.
Wait, which brother died? The older brother or the younger brother?
The younger brother.
Okay, the older brother was upset when the younger brother died.
Yeah, the older brother, who's now the head of house for House Oakhart.
Nice.
Which, now that I have actual names for all that, Lord Carlin. Yeah, Carlin is the older brother. Yeah, his brother was upset. Carlin was upset when his brother died, but who wouldn't be? It's a family member, so not that I think they were that close, but I don't know. I don't know. Seems weird. Yeah, as far as like political ramifications, if this guy's dangerous and he faked his own death or has people like helping him that helped him do that, I can't imagine anyone who did that is going to be happy if the wool is suddenly pulled out from under them.
Well, oh yeah, for sure. We don't want to necessarily go outing him quite yet. I'm wondering, like, out loud to everyone, how maybe do we try and send some resources or people asking around at House Oakhart about what they know or remember of Vandrin? You know, how I feel like gathering information on this guy in some way might help. And I don't know.
Hey, wait, don't we have that book? That we
I
can
do
like
have that book.
write questions in, and that magically
Yes.
answers them.
Oh, that
Oh, yeah.
sounds fun.
You
Let's
do, in
that.
fact, have the Good Night book.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd have started writing questions in that as soon as I would have thought of it. I mean, basically all about this Van Renault dude.
Easy enough. Let me make sure. Let me read.
I don't know what the time frame is on. It's like a couple weeks or something like that, or
A spellcaster can expend charges to use the book and see through events that have happened or are happening. The spellcaster must write a single question into the book. This question does not have to be a yes or no question. After 24 to 96 hours on the next rising of the moon, the book will glow, its pages filled with the answer to the question. 4 charges can also be... that part's not useful to this. So yeah, basically, if you put in 4 questions, you'll get 4 answers on the next moonrise, which... if I have my handy dandy little lunar calendar thing that I developed for this. Where did I put that?
yeah, I just see if anybody has any specific questions they'd be curious about, but like probably first would be, is Van Renault alive? Are there obvious limitations in these questions? And I can come up with the
You guys haven't found any yet.
Well, then I feel like I don't know.
But to be fair, I don't think there's been any questions yet that have like severely defied the logic of the book yet. So
Yeah. I mean, I'd say in our week that we're kind of taking here, I'd have maybe 2 or 3 cracks at questions.
well, in that week, let me make sure. So you guys would have started doing all of your reading on the 3rd, or I mean, yeah, you guys got back late on the 2nd. So going into the 3rd for reading, spending a week doing that. The moon rises on the 5th and 1st, is when there's a strong enough moon for that to happen. So 10, yeah, it would be 5 and 6. Yeah, you'd have two different chances to get a full set of 4.
Right.
So 8 questions potentially that you can write in this book and have answered.
Yeah, I mean, I can sort of between sessions or something like that, I can come up with those. But yeah, I mean, I was just thinking like the general stuff about the Oakhart, maybe some of the questions, some of the concerns we have, if we have any concerns about like the other people we extracted from the prison. You know, all the nerd shit.
Yeah. If you want to put those in chat whenever you think of questions, and obviously anyone else is willing to, put forth a question as well. Now that there's
totally
8 charges
open.
total. You did give one question specifically earlier: is Vandrin Oakhart alive? And I will say definitively that the book does answer that question. And it comes back: the man born as Vandrin Oakhart is still alive.
Okay.
oh.
I wouldn't necessarily know that with the reaction. And so, I would, say, yeah, some of them would be, well, yeah, I would structure it in a way. Anyways, yep. All right, cool. Well, probably, it's just if that was more one of in the first round of questions, I would tell the group that, he's
Yeah, that would have been
alive,
in the first round of questions.
and
I'd
the
say.
answers to the others, but it's obvious that the death was a fake.
Apparently. I would ask, does Drost approach Avandre at all during this time?
Oh yeah, for sure.
How much of everything are you sharing with him? Would be the next question then.
Well, he seemed pretty cagey on that he kind of knew something about the blade, but there were other pieces in play that he didn't want to sacrifice. I mean, I'd probably tell him everything. I don't have any reason to keep anything from him for protection, for anyone's protection or anything. So, yeah, I'd also bring up that, man, it would be pretty cool if we could find a way of recovering Valerian to his faculties. I don't know if he has ideas about that. So anyways, yeah.
So, yeah, when you start discussing that part, Avandre is just like, he doesn't really respond much as you're telling him everything about the blade. As soon as you switch topics to the Archmage, he goes, we should probably have a discussion with all your party. I have some thoughts on that, actually. So I'll admit, I've done some poking around in his tent and into his mind to see what exactly has been going on, because I mean, he was a significant, I don't want to, well, colleague is probably the best word for it. So, not sure if he ever knew who I was, but obviously I was running in that circle for a bit, so I have some assessments I've done that I think the rest of your group might be interested in.
Yeah, I assume we either have lunches or dinners or something together to,
Yeah.
we're catching up on that.
I'd say towards the end of that week, Avandre invites you guys all to his little croft to have a bit of a powwow and go over some things. Loki, do you avoid going or do you go with them? I'd say by this point in the week, like, it is completely up to you if you fully like disappeared into a cave somewhere.
No, I go with them.
Okay. The Kobold kids have seemed to die down a little bit. They don't bug you as much. I think they caught the message, but
Hey man, you got a following.
yeah.
Hopefully it just doesn't turn into a cult.
You do every once in a while see a couple of kobold kids chasing each other going, I do acid breath, and throwing some grass at them. But yeah, later that week, he kind of gathers you guys all up. Telekinetically having you guys served and catered to by unseen servants, as you guys sit all around the table in his croft. So, Drost has filled me in on some things, and I wanted to be a little more transparent regarding some things and any hesitation I might have to discuss them. It's recently come to my attention you are aware of the identity of a certain individual that if I speak his name, it suddenly becomes much more potent in our cause that I've acknowledged it. And I am unwilling to... I have other things in play that if I was to mention this name would suddenly become targeted on the board, for lack of a better term. So any apprehension to discuss that individual on my part, just know it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because I am trying to keep other things still close to my chest. That being said, obviously we should discuss the prisoners you have freed. The more important ones, obviously, being the Wolf, Lord Edward, and the former Archmage. I still need to have a discussion with Lord Edward myself, but I can handle that part. From what I know of the Wolf, she seems like she's going to be a useful ally, and I've vetted her as much as I can in my ways. She seems like she'll be helpful. So, good find there. The Archmage. So, I've done a bit of poking, and to say that his mind is scattered would be an understatement. Equivalent of ripping out a bunch of pages from a journal, tearing them into the tiniest pieces you can imagine, and throwing them in a pile, and every once in a while you can find a couple pieces that fit together and make a coherent thought, but they don't stay together for very long. I did some essays into it, and it was very clearly done by magic. I think we can all probably make a wild guess as to who did something about that, or who had something done about that.
Mhm.
As far as fixing it, this isn't going to be a cast one thing of greater restoration and call it done kind of situation. In fact, I'm not entirely sure if that spell would have much effect, if any. It certainly wouldn't hurt things, but I would not expect it to be the full-on band-aid we would want it to be. So, just in case anyone was thinking about doing that, be aware. It will help. It will probably help things. It would probably take numerous castings of it, and given that that is not a insignificant resource, I would hesitate to be spending that much before we know what's going to happen going forward. So, but that is something that you can potentially look at doing just to see the reaction. If you do, I ask that you let me know so that I'm there just in case, and also observation purposes. I'm curious after all. Thoughts, questions, concerns?
I don't think so.
What do you think about our next plan? Like, do we just proceed with what we were planning to do and go kill the torch?
Honestly, it's not the worst plan. The incident with that certain individual may complicate things. I don't know if things with your deal with him have changed in any way regarding going after the torch. Still not a bad thing. I'm sure the torch hasn't exactly been idle this past week. We're waiting on intel reports as we're pulling some of the troops back, but to my knowledge, he's still out there and doing things, so I'm sure there's probably a village somewhere off in the boonies somewhere he's been burning, but that's par for the course, unfortunately. Not a bad idea to go after him. I know you had been working on Elvenon. Oakland is still a work in progress, according to Birchwood, but that might be one of those messes that gets untangled after every other mess is done, so I wouldn't put that one too high on the priority list. I will say I'm trying to get a bit more interest in the cause generated up north. I've been sending some messages to some trusted individuals up there, and I think I've at least got someone's eye looking at it. I might have a little more information here in a couple days, but at the very least, what we've been doing has not gone unnoticed.
Nice.
As far as any other further actions, obviously cultivating Lord Edward as a resource is very useful. Given his connection to the former Prince Lothariel, and he kind of stops for a second, and his mind he literally, you've never seen it happen before. You see him stop mid-thought. And his obvious former connection to the Empress. I don't know if he's much of an intelligence asset as far as raw intelligence, but once he's feeling better, I'm sure we might be able to use him and, at the very least, his name. Sullied as it is, it might be able to open some doors for us, as far as maybe getting some intelligence of our own in place. As far as the Archmage goes, though, I don't know. I don't like having that big of a wild card on the board. I mean, I'm sure some of you are at least vaguely aware of the fight that he had regarding policy with the Empress, but even I don't know the extent of what happened there. So even if we were to fix him, I don't know if he's necessarily like an enemy of our enemy type, or if he just wants to be left the hell alone.
Is there much concern that they put him in the hole or in the pit? I was going to say, is there much concern that whoever did what they did to him is like capable of tuning in to keep an eye on him at all, or like is he a potential security concern?
That is a very good question. I don't believe he is now. I didn't find any. I mean, there's the obvious magical damage that's been done from this. It didn't strike me as a curse. It was more just damage already being done, and being left in a state where repairable like actions are consequently much harder. Is it possible? Of course, just about anything's possible with enough magic and willpower. Likely not very much so, but I will say that now, having brought it up, I'm mildly more concerned about it than I was previously. So I might have him moved into... He kind of looks over, he's like, I don't think I want to move him into my place, but I think I can probably persuade the people in the croft next to me to let him out. Might have them just, him and the blade, or the wolf, take up in there. She seems to be adequate to guiding him, and he seems to have already built some kind of... I mean, what passes for a sentient trust bond with her, so no point in interrupting that.
Good.
But it does beget further study, that's for sure. I'm having trouble imagining the kind of mental torture it must be to have your mind shattered like that. We take minds for granted sometimes, but having, I mean, it's not just his mind, it was his entire sense of identity. Even trying to sift through the pieces of it myself, I didn't see much left of the man, or at least nothing cohesive of the man I knew.
Of an archmage, no less.
Indeed. Not very many of them typically have something like this done to them. But, anywho, and he takes a big glug of wine. How are the rest of you doing? I know you've been studying. Taylor, you seem to be much more hale and hearty than you did a week ago.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better.
Good. Glad to know.
I read a book, a whole book.
I'm very proud of you, Tez.
Drost helped me
We
just
all
a
are.
little. Oh, thank you.
An absolute undertaking, and he makes eye contact with you, Dros, and just like nods his glass a little more. Like the implied like the saint of a teacher right there. Well, I can
Nice
think of
work,
no one
Tez.
better than those than you that those tomes went to. Have you looked over the other items you acquired?
Yeah, we got a whole
Yes?
stack of them, right?
Question mark? Shit, yeah.
I think you guys did. Yeah, you went
What else
through
did we
a good
get?
amount of it, and that I mean a lot. You guys got a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, that's like the potion of dominionation. All that stuff.
Yeah, the ointment, the shield, a couple arrows of slaying, staff of healing, sunblade. all of those
God,
potions.
That's right, the Sunblade.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, if you just scroll up from the potion of diminution, it's all of that shit. You have a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, as you guys are kind of looking through it, Avandri's just like, just so you're aware, if there's anything that you don't have need of, obviously the cause would very much like it. I'm sure Master Dunermont down in the foundries would greatly appreciate any unneeded enchanting items and would be happy to pay for them or transfer enchantments. Looks like we lost a Loki, but oh, there he is.
Okay.
But yes, I'm sure there's plenty of. It sounds like you have quite the haul there. If there's anything that isn't necessarily needed, I'm sure he'd be happy to pay a fair price or trade for something.
Good to know.
Yeah, damn, I'm just looking through those again.
A lot of shit.
Staff of Healing. Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah, I took that.
That's no joke.
Yeah, that shit's handy.
It's very nice.
Yeah, if there's anything you guys have specifically claimed, just note it down on there and make sure it's added on your sheet. Everything in there is just drag and drop for the most part from Roll20 or D&D Beyond, so should just be able to add it from there. Along with a very epic stash of potions that you all now have.
Yeah, for real, we're kind of rolling in it at the moment.
A little bit, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we've got probably haven't even used a quarter of that
That
cash.
wagon
down
load of
payment
cash that we got.
that we're probably not gonna get another installment on.
No, no. Yeah, I can't imagine that dude's gonna pay us.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily seem the type to take to slights very well.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily a slight. I mean, well, I suppose we could have figured out that he'd be involved in the.
I mean, from what you
dark
said, it sounded like you
cell,
took a personal interest in this.
but it wasn't. You know, we weren't necessarily going after. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Regardless of intentions, he's probably pissed now.
Well, I suppose if you don't have, I suppose if you have a murderous psychopath working towards the ends of a demon prince and an unstable homicidal government, or genocidal, I should say, if you have one of those as your enemy, you must be doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were gonna be here no matter where we went.
Right.
I'm not scared. Who's scared? Me either.
Sounds like nobody.
Nope, sounds like nobody. Anyway, and Avandra just kind of goes about, and you guys have a decent meal there. The next day, Taylor, you are fully recovered. Your strength is back at your whopping 13. And all of you, if you haven't already applied it, now have your stat buffed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have
Eventually,
a 20 passive perception now.
that is
So-
pretty good.
Mine's 22, and I did have a feat to get that.
Dang.
I'm trying to think. I think my cleric in Zach's game still has one of my highest right now, and that's with the feat and just a high wisdom in general. Anyway, so yeah, the next morning you guys are all feeling pretty good. The artificer head, Dexter Dunermont, comes up to you guys. Just want to let you guys know, we finished applying all of the enchantments to your ship while you guys were, resting and recovering. So the Rebel Yell now has a it's fully capable of stealth technology. It can activate a cloaking system and be invisible from the ground.
Yes.
Very nice.
Whoa.
That doesn't suck.
Yeah. Just be aware, we did have to wire it to the main generator, arcane, the arcane generator there for the ship. So keeping the stealth effect active at full power, you can do that and still do a lot. Like the cannons and stuff, they won't take up a whole lot of it, but sustained usage of the cannons or gunning the thrusters on there, that might cause some issues with the stealth and make it a bit easier to see. So, but I mean, I imagine it's probably going to be more of an ambush thing. I don't know, but just so you're aware, if you guys are in the middle of the battle and suddenly the ship is fully visible from the bottom, it might be that. So we did what we could, but there's only so much power being generated from those crystals.
That's fair.
All right.
But yeah, you guys now have stealth tech on your ship. You have all of these items. You now have stat buffs and a bunch of intrigues. What's next?
Well, what do you think, guys? I mean, do we go after the torch, or we can
I
throw a
think
I'm thinking.
curveball and go after the tinker?
Ooh.
Because he's probably going to warn the torch that we're coming after him. Because he seems like a dick like that.
Yeah, probably.
Or we just say fuck it and just go get the fucking torch, just kick the shit out of him.
I do want him dead.
Remind me where the Tinkerer was. Was it in Hilltown?
Yes.
We left Hilltown in a hurry.
I don't think Tez was in Hilltown.
Tez was not in Hilltown.
Where's Hilltown? What are you talking about?
That's better.
What
No,
is
it's not
going
past
on?
life over here.
I'm down for whatever.
Who's this Tinkerer person?
It was another one of the Blade's little inner circle. Ever
I'm assuming he
shrinking
tinkers.
Inner circle. It's a she, right? She's like a goblin, isn't she?
Goblin female. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she tinkers.
I think she brought my dickhead stepbrother back to life.
Whoa, heavy duty Tinkerer.
Probably gonna have to deal with that.
Drost, give me a history check at disadvantage, real quick.
Okay.
Jesus
Get
Christ.
some.
You start thinking about it for half a second. Engineering wasn't exactly your specialty, but you did have to dip into it because of your multi-class into Artificer. So you had to take more than a couple of engineering classes, just kind of the basic stuff. Goblin female. You kind of think about it a little bit. Obviously, anyone with a nickname like the Tinker would probably have to be involved in the engineering side of arcane constructs and the Imperial Council of Engineering and Innovation. But a goblin female sounds like something that would stand out, and then you kind of realize oh, it does. It very clearly does. You remember with that random eidetic memory of yours, reading a paper specifically outlining the concept of using arcane constructs as familiars, written by a goblin female known as Nerit.
Oh, okay. As Nerit?
Nerit. Nerrit. I'll throw it in the
Wait.
notes here.
Nerit, that's the Tinker's real name, right?
It is.
We know that as characters too, right?
I think you guys do. Yeah, I think you guys were given the name from other sources.
I had it written down.
Rose just knows her because of reading. I mean, this was essentially a treatise. I mean, the concept of arcane familiars already exists, and it's a very well-established principle. It's not hard to create a minor fey creature to serve your bidding. This was essentially using technology to supplant that, so that you would not have to be reliant on outside forces and the planar energies of the fey to create that creature.
Sure.
But still have like all of the full functionality and like abilities of that, if not an improvement on them.
Yeah, so she's gonna have an army of little clockwork bullshit or whatever.
Oh.
You might. What little you remember about it? You didn't dig. I mean, you would. I'm assuming you probably wouldn't have dug that deep. I mean, this is just kind of like in
There would have
passing.
been no reason, yeah.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been much of a reason to it. Just the idea of like, but you do find it very novel. Like, the Imperial Council of Engineering and Innovation is like, they're very much into building like the infrastructure of especially the Crown lands around Meridia, but a lot of like the major cities, that like new rail transit system that was just established between Meridia and Hilltown, was it was something that the ICEI built specifically. So they deal with a lot of like empire-wide advancements and things like that. The idea of a goblin female being associated with that is wild to you now that you're putting real thought into it. And not
Sure,
from like,
and-
just because of like that level of technology, to be like a published author from them would be, I mean, it's not something you would expect.
In terms of like the inherent racism and stuff of
Exactly.
the
It would be considered like, just even what little bit of the engineering side of magic and arcana and this, the empire, to reach that level and not be a human is an astounding feat.
Sure. So yeah, we're expecting similar level of skill and ability as the.
I would also remind you that you technically have a former ally of Nerit here with you, at least in Corlaria.
Ooh.
Hmm.
We should probably go talk to them.
Yeah.
I mean, easy
If
enough.
we're going after them first.
Yeah. I mean, where
Yeah,
the
'cause-
wolf's living now, so.
Yeah. Well, Nerit might be flippable, so we may not have to kill her. But the torch is
True.
definitely dead.
We ask the wolf if what she thinks about Nerit and if she wants to come with and try and flip her.
Yeah, might as well bounce it off her. And then, like I said,
Yeah.
we can kind of see. Or, like I said, we just say, fuck it. We got all our fire resistant shit. We can just go after the torch. Because we're going to
That's
blow
been
up.
the original plan from the beginning.
Because I was going to be Port Oman, right? That's where we were decided to hit him.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to blow a bunch of shit up there anyway. Like, fuck up the Empire. So
We should start there. I don't like that guy anyway.
he's a douchebag.
And if we're seriously considering flipping Nerit, then maybe the torch being out of the equation might make that more likely.
Yeah, that's
Less
true.
ally.
Yeah, one less person to come after and kill her if she does defect.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. And just one less, ally in
Yeah.
the Blades, or in the the Imperium or the Blades situation.
Yeah.
Going.
Well, yeah, because she'd be the last. Because it's just her and the torch left, right? Because we killed the Traveler. The Profligate got kicked out before this party really started, and the wolf is on our side now, so...
Yeah, you guys have made pretty quick work of them. One dead, one being targeted, one unknown, and one even more unknown. Because you have, I mean, to your knowledge, yeah, Profligate's been kicked out, but no idea where Molly is now.
Oh, yeah, because he got pinched or like caught in Corda, right? So he's not.
They were trying to. Taylor would probably know by now from Brenda that she genuinely has no idea where Molly went. Molly full on like up and left Corda, to her knowledge. If he's still there, it's a mystery to her.
Yeah, because he's trying to do the whole
All
like power behind the power thing, but then
Yep,
they figured it out.
Yeah, they
still have
cracked
to
down
go-
a bit more.
We still have to go blow up that big gun.
Hey, so Finn, what was the connection between Narret and the torch? How would Narret know that we were coming for the torch?
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
To warn him?
Unless, like the blade rats us out.
Oh.
I mean, I'm assuming he's going to tell the torch that we're. I was thinking he was going to tell the torch that we were coming after him.
Okay. Yeah, I got you now.
So he'll be
True,
like on his guard.
If he well, but it seemed like he wanted the torch gone pretty bad, and
Yeah,
he
but
might
I'm wondering
not-
if us pissing him off tipped that scale the other direction.
possible.
I guess that's the dice roll. Is like,
Yeah, exactly.
did we piss him off enough that he wants us dead worse than he wants the torch dead? So we'll give him a heads up, or do we say he still wants the torch dead? So I'm leaning towards that. Like, I think we really need to. I mean, we did get all this like fire resistant stuff. So
Right. I mean, at this point, he either knows or he doesn't. It's not,
yeah.
It's not like we're heading that situation off.
Well, and the blade didn't know where we were going to hit him. I mean, he gave us all the options, and we were going to pick which one. So I say we find out if he's in Port Oman. If he is, we fly down there and blow shit up, kill this motherfucker.
Yeah, wasn't there like we knew like his schedule, like he was like once every week he checked in at Port Oman or something like that. Like every night he went back to his like tower or something. I can't remember the specific.
No,
we had his time frame.
Yeah. Earlier in the week, he's usually found flitting around in the villages. You're aware that he has some kind of like safe house or something in the mountains, closer to Elvenon than where you guys are in Cornellaria. You're not 100% sure on like an exact location for that. You are aware like every other night or so, he flies back to Port Oman. The fort there, he has to check in regularly with his handlers there. And then, from what you were told, most nights he does teleport back to the Torre de Infierna down in Oasis.
And okay, so he has handlers in Port Oman, meaning like there's like an imperial. It's like the fort, right? It's an imperial fort.
Yes, there's an imperial fort there. I know I have it listed somewhere, but there's a major fort just north of Port Oman that is regularly used as kind of like the launching, like the staging area for anything going up north following the river road. He's been essentially just going down there and like checking in with superiors every couple days and then heading back out.
Well, I wonder if they have supplies at that fort. So after like we fuck them up and kill all these dudes, we just take all that back to the fucking base, and that'll solve the resource problem we had.
I was just thinking that.
I mean, we're gonna kill him. Might as well rob him too.
I mean, we'd probably have to. I mean, yeah. Were we going to like literally demolish the entire fort and wipe everyone out there, or just sort of a sneak in, take the torch out? I mean, the question is, if he's got superiors there and like an army, are we going in full guns blazing, or are we going to try?
I think that was the part we hadn't gotten to yet.
Right,
we settled on the final plan.
I mean, either way, yeah, we could if we opportunistic.
Especially now that we're all like stealth up, like Tez could fucking drop bombs on them.
Right. No shit.
I'm good with that.
I vote that route.
Or we could drop bombs. We could just get a whole bunch of barrels of like fucking super flammable oil and just drop them on the side of the ship.
Yeah.
And just fucking land all over the place, and then it just catches on fire incidentally. Oops. Let's do some of that too.
Yeah, let's do some of that for sure.
Yeah, and when were we talking about not fireproofing, but making the ship a little less susceptible to fire or something? Or was I just remembering that?
I think there might have been discussion, but I'm not sure. I didn't have it
Did I
written down as
cross
any of
those?
the things like you guys were for sure doing.
Maybe I crossed the
Yeah.
wires between making it invisible
Yeah,
and
I think we went
us
with
getting
the
our
stealth
resistance.
option.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a crew now, right? So we can have like all kinds of fire putting out stuff around.
Right. Well, do we try and case this fort?
I think so. Well, let's go talk to Ingrid and see what she thinks. And then, yeah, depending, I mean, unless she says something like super compelling, I think we go forward with the go after the torch now plan. So we
Agreed.
need to find some barrels of flammable oils.
I'm
before
sure
we
they're
take
around
off.
somewhere.
They gotta be. What kind of rebellion doesn't have like explosives?
Right, and if we don't have any for some reason, we're getting some.
Yeah. Stop off someplace.
Yeah, easy peasy.
I mean, there's definitely a foundry you can certainly check for industrial materials. But you guys had to go talk to Ingrid at her new little croft. True to his word, Avandre did have the spot right next to his cleared out and set up for the two of them. So she's in there. Grifter's just kind of over in the corner on the wall, like drawing on it with what looks like a rock.
Thank God. I thought you were going to say his own poop.
Nope. Just drawing on it with a rock. Anyone who is trained in Arcana, give me an Arcana check at disadvantage.
I'm definitely not trained.
I think that might just be Dross now that I'm saying it out loud, but I don't know if anyone else grabbed proficiency in it.
I don't know if having a passive Arcana of 20 is useful.
It does. You kind of take a second to look. The scratchings that he's making, they're not fully gibberish. You're seeing like some minor like elements of arcane runes and sigil designs that don't make sense in this format that he's using, because they're not, they're not just mix and match. They're not Legos. But there are like elements of it, like, I mean, he's still got pieces of spellcraft kicking around in his head at least. Like you recognize enough of it.
Sure.
You don't know what spell. I mean, he might not even be trying to cast a spell. Like there might not be a part of his mind that's trying to do anything like that, but you're able to recognize at least like some of this stuff is definitely some part of his brain recognizing like how to draw stuff from spellcraft.
Fragments of memories of scrolls or books.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Ingrid's just kind of sitting there, just kind of watching and reading over a book as you guys come in. Hey, so what's the word? What are you guys doing?
Well, we want to check in with you. So we got a couple options.
Okay.
We were initially going to go after the torch, and the blade hooked us up with like all of his movements and a whole bunch of like background info because he wants him dead too. Or we could take a break on that and go after the Tinkerer.
And I'm guessing you just wanted, my input because.
Yeah, they used to be your squad. Yeah, and I mean, do you think the Tinkerer is like you, where she's got a reason she's on team fucking evil and would happily go back to team fucking kick ass if we helped incentivize her? We're team kick ass.
Yes
team
and
evil,
no.
just to clear that one up.
I think it's a complicated situation. Nerit, I mean, not that any of us truly had like, necessarily good people, but Nerit wasn't, she didn't get picked up into the group because of any like ideological like basis or anything. she wasn't trying to set the world on fire or anything like that. Nerrit just kind of got snubbed. Like, she's fucking brilliant. And just even talking to her for half a second, you can tell that she is an intelligent woman. Just happens to be born a goblin and empire. So, had she been born a human, she'd be working in Meridia. I guarantee it. Probably running some fucking committees down there. She wasn't, though. So, even though as brilliant as she was, she got snubbed. And she finally got tired of having her work taken and other people putting their names on it instead of hers. So, she wasn't really sure what to do. And the Blade snatched her up and said, hey, I need someone to help build tools and armaments for the Empire serving this great cause. And you'll actually be paid and recognized for your work under this pseudonym here. But I'm never going to deny who your identity is. Like, are you in? And she jumped at it. So, is she, like, would she be ideologically opposed to what he's doing now with, killing all of these non-humans and basically leading a genocide and the other stuff that you've kind of mentioned? Maybe, probably. I think it's also going to be complicated because of the torch, though. How much do you know about what's going on inside of him right now?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, not much.
So, no, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not a poster child for, like, healthy coping mechanisms and things like that, but what little I know about him, he's not operating with a full deck. I don't, like...
Oh, me either.
She just kind of looks at you like, that's fair, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, we weren't all, like, best friends, like, sharing our trauma and bonding together or anything like that, so I don't know his full deal. I do know that he very quickly can switch from being, like, quiet and meek and just wanting to, study his art and things like that to full sociopathic. Like a switch being flipped. So, not great. I don't know if it... And see, this is where it's going to get complicated because Nerrit, when it was, I'm going to help you and do this. The Blade picked up the torch because he saw kind of the same thing, like crazy potential that could easily be used for his causes. And the Blade had a very, like, it was very clear, like, he was getting personal instruction from the Blade in, arcane matters and things like that. Nerrit tried to kind of temper that out a little bit by, teaching him other things, like just how to work with your hands, common sense knowledge, even just like basic concepts of philosophy and stuff that she probably learned at the academy. She tried to balance out the like barrage of combat magic and destruction with humanity. And I don't know how much of that took, but I do. Nerrit is probably a bit attached to him. I don't know if it's like, I mean, she's old enough that she could have kids. Like, I don't know if it's going to be that kind of relationship or just like a good friend or whatever, but like, it's going to add a wrinkle to whatever you guys plan, I think. Now, could she be flipped? Probably. With anything the Torch has been doing up here, if she's aware of it. Whether that's enough to, like, flip her to being okay with him dying in the near future, questionable. Would she be easier to flip after he's dead? Probably not. But I don't think it's going to be one of those... It's going to be a difficult conversation regardless of when you have it. It's just the difficulty, like, what kind of difficult? It's either convincing someone that they might, be attached to is a monster, or doing it after you've already killed them.
Mm.
But then they probably are mildly aware that they're a monster based on, anything that happens during the process of killing them.
Yeah, I mean, also, how does Nerrit not know? How has Nerrit not heard of, villages turning into basically volcanic glass?
I mean, you'd be surprised with someone who builds as many fucking, like, eyes and ears and little tinker machines as she does. She is remarkably insular. I'd be shocked if she's seen the sunlight at least once in the past month. I'm going to be honest. Wherever she's got her fucking workshop at, whatever fucking hole she's dug, I guarantee you're gonna find it. It's gonna smell a lot like engine oil, and there's probably not gonna be a damn torch in there. And it's probably also going to be like at least a 15-minute walk to the surface where sunlight is. Like as soon as she is the textbook definition of hyperfocus. So if she's been doing stuff like working this whole time, probably wouldn't have even occurred to her. Like maybe like a half thought of like, oh, I wonder how he's doing. I hope he's doing okay. Back to hammering.
Priorities changing, maybe?
Maybe.
That's just my 2 cents at least. Like I'm, and again, I haven't talked to her in, I don't know, a month, maybe something like that. It's been a while. So maybe things have changed. Don't know. But what interactions I had, she was always like the nicest one of us. If that word can ever be used about any of us. So honestly, if you talk to me, if you like ask this before like talking to me or Molly, I would have put money on her being willing to flip early, but I don't know. It's going to be a difficult conversation either way, but not impossible. I could see it.
Well, it sounds like they're both obstacles, and if one of them flips, great. If not, then not the worst thing in the world, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say if you end up taking out Torch first, don't neglect to go after her. Whether that's to flip her or to kill her, just be aware, like, the minute his body goes cold, if it's even possible for a flamehead like him to go cold, the minute his body goes cold, that is going to be a time bomb waiting for her to come after you. Because if it gets to her before you approach the situation, let's be clear here. Like, she, as far as I'm aware, she's still in good terms with the Blade. Like, this isn't, she didn't go into like exile or anything like Molly did. She's just working in her workshop. So if he spins it as you guys went after him, managed to take him down, her sweet precious boy, 100% she'll come after you.
We should probably talk to her first.
Right. I mean, we have like the whatever, the book or the journal or the Blade's notes on where the torch, like we have like hard physical proof that we could literally show her that wants us to take the torch out. That sounds like a pretty decent lever to pull in that respect. But then when we tell her that we're gonna kill, we're also like killing the torch for our own reasons.
Oh no, we're definitely going to kill him. We just want to make sure you knew that somebody helped us do it.
Just so you know,
it wasn't all us.
I mean, and maybe the best case scenario in there is that she is pissed off at the Blade, and who knows what, but.
I mean, yeah, the guy's blowing up towns. I feel like she should know that.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, she says you can't kill him, and we just kill her.
Right, right.
Then she'll die.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like we're going to Hilltown.
Hilltown it is.
Woohoo!
Our old stomping grounds.
Yep.
I've never been before. Remember?
Oh, you'll love it, Tez.
Something tells me Tez is really not going to like the smell when he gets there, though.
Oh no, probably not.
Word of the warning, not that I necessarily need to. Just maybe be careful about where you park that airship, since you are going back into Imperial territory. Not that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just.
No, we got stealth mode now, so
Oh,
We'll land it like a little ways away and then like sneak in.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hope that works out. Because yeah,
Fucking
I mean,
worth.
I don't know much about. I mean, not that I ever really dealt with the Imperial Sky Navy to begin with, but can't imagine one of their major provincial capitals is completely undefended. So
Did you all leave Hilltown on good terms?
I mean,
Can you
We
walk
I
weren't
don't
around
think it
without
was
fleeing.
bad.
yeah, we weren't like fleeing arrest. We left of
That's
our own
good.
volition.
Oh, good.
yeah, you guys did indeed leave of your own volition and had wagons at the time. I remember that.
Oh, so we bought our fucking Blues Brothers wagon.
Yeah, you bought your Blues
How
Brothers
much chaos
wagon.
did y'all cause?
A medium amount of chaos.
Yeah, I'd say
Like-
medium is good.
Oakland is where
Okay.
things really went pear shaped. Like everything
No,
up
Oakland was
quarter got a little dicey. But that was I don't know.
You
that
guys were
was
still
our fault.
street legal back then.
Yeah. Barely.
Oh yeah, that should be. I probably should serve as a reminder. Yeah, you guys technically have wanted posters out there now.
Yeah, but they're not super descriptive, so
That's true.
yet.
Yet subject to change.
Yeah. How much influence does the blade have over making things hard for us to
All of the
function
influence.
in? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
the dude's like,
Imperial capital.
Yeah, like direct influence, none. But I mean, he knows where to apply pressure. So I mean, if he wanted to, overnight, everyone would know your faces.
yeah.
So it's a good thing we know a really intimate detail of his life now.
Oh yeah, mutually shared destruction. I'm an orphan, so I really don't give a shit. I openly use my real name all of the time when we commit treason.
That's true, you do. Let's just say families are complicated.
Alright. Well, let's fucking mount up. Let's test drive our new fucking stealth ship.
I'm excited.
I'm
Oh.
excited.
How much money does the like quartermaster need to like comfortably get supplies for everybody? Figure while we're all together before we leave, like is there a gold coin amount that he needs?
5,000 gold would put them up for probably the better part of the month in supplies.
Oh, what do you guys think?
What are we sitting on? Like
Yeah.
at or near
A whole
50,000?
bunch.
Oh, I think we have more than that, right?
Yeah,
It was-
honestly, I don't remember how much getting all that fire
We got
stuff
like
cost. And
Didn't we got like
and
125k?
I thought we had something
And we
like
spent
that.
like 20.
We burned
spent
a
bunch
lot.
on the boat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We
because
had to have like
25k, I think. Make sure where is. Yeah, because it was going to be 250,000 total once everything was completed.
yeah.
So you got half of that. Between the items you've built or you've bought and had built for you by the foundries and the upgrades to the ship, you guys are sitting like it's below 100 by this point, but it's got to be like low 90s,
I'll say
maybe
barely.
high 80s. Like nothing to scoff at for sure. So
We have lots of monies.
Yeah. What do you guys think? $5,000?
Okay.
Yeah, give him
They'll
5.
have-
that'll
yeah,
get them through
fine.
at least a month. So
that's right. It's a stopgap till they can maybe be more self-sufficient, get more people to work.
Well, maybe we'll find some supplies and we blow up this fort. Or maybe we'll find some in Hilltown. Oh, when we're in Hilltown, I'm going to have the dudes in the ship. We need to buy as much alchemist fire as you can get your hands on. Or any kind of flammable oils.
it's easy enough to do. You can check in with Dex real quick, and he's just like, I mean, we have some. How much exactly are you needing? Like,
well,
we're talking barrels. Like it
Yeah.
sounded like you're talking barrel. Like how if you
I mean-
had a ballpark of what you wanted, what would that look like?
Oh, like 4 or 5.
We could do 4.
I mean, we're taking on a whole fort full of soldiers, and I'd like to thin the herd a little bit before we have to get like real hands dirty with it. So just drop those from up above, drop some bombs, catch it on fire.
Yeah. I think we have 3, and then 1 that we use for some stuff that's mostly full right now. But I mean, we can replenish that by the end of the night and have it stocked up and put into your guys' hold.
Perfect.
I would ask that you pay for it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we got to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to replace it. They're 1,000 gold each.
All right.
Sounds worth it.
How do you feel about a trade? Because we got a fuckload of magic stuff that we're probably never going to use.
I'm open to it. What do you have in mind?
I don't know, man. The way you think about this, like ring of swimming. Well, we're never going to use that shit, right? Oh, we're
Probably
keeping
not.
that immovable rod. That's awesome.
Hell
Oh, yeah.
Filter
I
love.
swim
That sounds
very good.
super rapey. I'm not real into it. Oh, Tez, look at this. Do you take this magic javelin? Take that.
Oh, can I have it?
Dunzo, man. Yeah, I mean, does anybody need mithril half plate? I don't know,
I
Loki, does
think-
that fit you?
Nope.
I think I'm already wearing it.
Oh, you're already wearing that one? There you go. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just rifle through our box of shit. Like, I don't know, man.
I do have
Couple of
that
these.
javelin already.
Oh, there you go. Does anybody want the shield? I think anybody use the shield.
I will hold
right?
on to that if no one else is
There you go.
interested. But I'm happy to share.
Well, because I'm trying to think. I think Loki uses shields, right?
No.
Do you not? I thought you did.
I could, but I don't.
I was going to say, because a battle axe is a one-handed weapon. You could.
It's a two-handed battle axe.
Oh, it's a great axe then.
Yes.
Okay. My mistake. Never mind.
I'll just put it in my inventory. If someone is taking magic damage more than me, you're welcome to it. Just shout.
Oh, I wouldn't know what to do with that thing if I had it.
Keep in mind, there's also a lightsaber. So,
Oh, yeah. Anybody need that sword?
Nope.
Yeah. All right, well, I think 4 grand's like you guys. So like 9 grand for some food for our rebel army and barrels of explosives that we're gonna drop on our fucking enemies. Is that purchase approved?
Sounds like
Purchase
a good
approved.
deal.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Done.
all right.
Send
We'll
somebody
round
to
up
the
and see. You
ship
guys have like
with a
85K
wheelbarrow.
left. So, if someone wants to write down that. Oh, there was one thing before we had shifted away from the blade and grifter. I was going to mention, Finn. You would have seen this with your passive perception right as you guys were leaving the room. After, like, right as you're leaving, grifter's been drawing still with the rock on the wall. Right as you were leaving, he like touched the wall and one of the glyphs lit up with light for like half a second.
Oh. I'll tell Ingrid.
Yeah,
Something
he's.
he touched lit up. I don't know if that's.
I don't know enough magic shit to know what he's been trying to do. I know he's trying to do something. He just keeps saying it's important whenever I ask what it is, but I don't know. Beats
Well, I
me.
just want to make sure you knew, so we didn't like blow.
Oh
your
yeah, no,
place up.
that's That's not the first time it's done that. As far as I can tell, it's just lit up. So.
Is it always different stuff, or is it the same one?
It's been fairly similar, like that flash of like bright purple, whitish light. So I
Oh,
don't think I've seen a change in it yet. I'm waiting for
oh,
Avandre to get back from a meeting. I was going to ask him about it, but
well, I can still see the rune that lit up when I saw it, right?
yeah, you can.
Drost. Does that rune mean
Yeah.
anything?
Mm,
Give me another Arcana check. 18. It's vaguely reminiscent of runes used in conjuration spells. Typically higher level concentrations, or not concentration, sorry, conjuration spells.
sure. Like conjuration, like um, summoning stuff like that,
Well,
or
conjuration is a very wide range school because there's a lot of things like summoning things like that, summoning elementals, summoning clouds of gas to kill your enemies, and
oh yeah, true.
then there's even the more like mundane levels of stuff of like summoning planes of force to walk around on, or even teleporting.
Sure.
I think on an 18 you don't recognize enough of any of it to determine like the start of a spell, but you do recognize some of the flourishes and things on there that are more conjuration aligned.
Does
Uh,
Ingrid remember where any of the other ones that lit up were?
Yeah. Here, and here. And she points, and all of them are conjuration based.
all right, I'm gonna like scribble them down, and I don't have it prepared, but I'm just gonna ritually cast comprehend languages. I mean, it's not like I know this isn't a separate language, but I don't know
Right.
if it'll help give any insight into
Let me check
connecting
something
any
real quick.
dots, or seeing if he's trying to communicate in some way that he's unable to otherwise.
Give me a flat intelligence check.
Okay.
And I'll say with advantage because of the comprehend languages.
Cool. Yeah, that's Oh shoot, sorry, I had. Oh yeah, I did have
Oh,
advantage
yeah, it was
on
at
intentionally.
advantage. 23. That is higher than an 18 this time. Looking at it, it helps piece it together a little bit more. It is still higher level conjuration. You rule out some of the more like summoning aspects of it. You don't think this is going to summon like just running through the list of like common high level conjuration spells that you're aware of. You don't think it's going to do something like summon an incendiary cloud or a fortress or a tsunami or something like that. It doesn't. It's not a like destructive focused conjuration spell. It seems more utility based, not summoning or anything. Just probably geared more towards like teleportation or exploration or something like that.
Can I get the sense that he's trying to cast the spell, or that he's just trying to sort of convey?
On a
Or is that
23,
not a?
on a 23, it's I'd say on a 23, you get the sense he's trying to cast something.
Sure.
It's not cohesive enough, and even if he was to like, right now, the way he's kind of doing it, he kind of started in like the bottom left of a page. If you're imagining like a piece of paper on the wall, he started in the bottom left of the page and kind of has done it in like an arc around, and he's now up in the top right corner of it.
Oh,
With the
so
way,
he's not done.
it doesn't look like I mean, he's still writing. Like as you guys are looking
Right.
at this, and Ingrid's pointed to the spots, he's still like carving just random gibberish into the walls. With like, but even looking at the points that have already lit up at this point, they don't form a cohesive like rune for
Mhm.
any spell you're aware of. Like it's like they're shifted a little bit, like they're out of place. Like just judging by spellcraft alone, this is something that would like 100% get like an initiate and a detention for like trying to cast a first level spell with this kind of sloppy like penmanship. You know, you'd be surprised if the spell was functional even when he's done with the way it's written out this way.
Ingrid, how long has he been at this?
This one, a couple hours. He's been doing it
He's
most of
done
the days.
others?
Yeah, I usually try to get him paper to do it. Sometimes he does it on the paper, sometimes he won't. And she goes and like pulls. You kind of notice like she has this sheet up on one of the walls, kind of in that same way like college kids put something up there as decoration. She moves the sheet and like you see more of them. All of them decidedly in an arch shape. But in that same, like, the points of the glyphs are not where they should be for any kind of spell you're aware of.
Sure. Have any of the runes on these other scribblings lit up?
Yeah, just the individual ones when he touches them. I don't think I've never seen any of them, like, they don't all light up at once. It's just, like, whatever
Right.
one he finished and then he touches it and it does it. It's never been anything beyond that. I figured, his mind's probably a little too fractured to do anything useful right now.
He's been doing this one for a couple hours. Has he been doing these other runes the whole time that we've been here? Since we've been here?
He's been working on
Or-
this. She points at the one on the wall he's at right now. He's been working on this one like all day. It takes him like the better part of a day. Like he'll do this, and like the only time he'll stop is when I put food in front of him. And then he'll do it for the rest of the day. And whenever he gets tired, he just goes to bed.
Was he doing this? I can't remember. Were they together in the pit?
They were. He wasn't doing this in the pit, but you do recall he was doing this once you got them out of the pit. Like
Sure.
when everyone was waiting in level 2 for you guys to come up from level 3, he was just at the wall, like tracing stuff in the wall.
What was the preventative? Did we know the mechanics of like what level spells that it made it hard to cast down there? So like
It's
level
just like
5 and below.
generally, right?
It was
Or just
third
any
level,
spell.
or lower required a check. Everything above that, it made it a little more difficult, but it was still doable.
Sure.
However, he also had a like modified version of the arcane like restrictions on him. He had some vambraces on him, manacles. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
He had manacles on them that fully negated any spellcraft.
Sure. So he just wasn't able to do spell type stuff. I'd probably go right to Avandre and suggest that he have, if he's not aware of it, make him aware of it and tell him keep someone who's able to actually like record his progress, keeping an eye on him.
Well, she just told you Avandre's not in his croft next door. However, you do have a way of contacting him.
Rock.
Yeah. Do you use it?
Yeah.
Avandre's Rock, how can I help you?
Hey, Avandre, do you know about Valerian's runes scribbling?
Rune scribbling?
No. So it seems like he's trying to cast some sort of a conjuration spell by like writing out the runes. It doesn't make sense to me what he's specifically trying to cast. But Ingrid says that he tells her it's important.
Ah. 1 second, and you hear the line on the rock go dead. About a minute later, you hear a flash in Avandre's little apartment, and the door opens. Okay, let me. This is gonna be a little more. Excuse me, pardon me. And he kind of makes his way through your group. Goes into Ingrid's. Hello, Ingrid. Wonderful to see you. Can I? Oh, and just looks at the wall, and just sees like multiple of these like arch of glyphs. Interesting. Curious. Hold on. And he gonna roll an Arcana check real quick. And I'm assuming Drost would like point out something, and he'd help. He'd have the.
Oh, for
he'd have
sure.
some
Yeah.
advantage
I mean,
here, so.
yeah.
All right. Well, a 26 is going to beat the 25 DC that I had set for this when this entire thing started. So, he takes a couple looks at this. Oh my. Okay. Oh, you are a clever one. And he looks over at Valerian. The rest of you guys, are you guys still like clustered around here? Or are you outside? What are you guys doing?
I mean, I'm right there.
Yeah, I know you're right there. And
I
Finn,
probably still
Finn
be
obviously
standing
was.
there. Yeah, because I was showing him.
The rest of you guys have been around?
Yeah, I'm around.
I'm in there.
Probably.
Oh, Tyler, sweet Tyler, I require your assistance, please.
Uh-huh.
Remember how I said that Greater Restoration would be a temporary thing and might be worth trying?
Yeah.
I think we're at that point. Please, if you wouldn't mind. I know it's a big resource.
Sure,
I think he's been trying to tell us something, and I think we might just want to see what he's been telling us.
Yeah, sure. I'll cast Greater Restoration.
Okay. You guys all watch Tyler walk up, just kind of put her hand on the back of his head, and light suffuses the room, transfers into his mind, or into him. He kind of stops like mid-glyph, and you watch like his eye. You guys could see from the corner, like his eyes were always kind of like dull, vacant, like nothing intelligent to them, except like an occasional flash that I think Drost and Finn had noticed. You watch that intelligence spark back to life, and he like blinks, and suddenly he's in full control of his faculties. Quick, hold on, before I lose it, he goes to a blank spot on the wall and rapidly starts drawing glyphs, all of which now make perfect sense to you, Drost, as in one action he finishes casting Gate.
Oh.
Everyone, now, we need to talk now before I lose it.
Okay.
And he steps through the gate.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's go.
what's going on?
I guess we're going through this gate.
Sounds like we're going through a gate.
I was gonna say, you guys have it lasts for a minute. Who's going through?
Yep, we're jumping in.
I
Let's
mean,
go.
Goodbye.
yeah, let's hop to another plane of existence.
Let's go.
All right. You all step through. Ingrid comes with you. Avandre is just like, oh, this should be fun, and walks through. All of you emerge from the portal on a stone dais, surrounded by crumbling white columns, ringing what appears to be a courtyard of some sort. Beyond the columns, in 3 different directions, you see nothing but black and purple void, with the occasional twinkling light way off in the distance. In the 4th direction, in the direction you're seeing this now quite lucid Archmage wandering to, you see a stone bridge leading to what appears to be a floating island with a massive white stone tower. The tower appears to be made of seamless stone, not bricks. Doesn't look like it has any windows or doors visible from this side. You can see at the top of the tower, just barely visible from its crenellations, an array of what looks like complicated metal rods, emitting a purple field of energy that seems to spread out from this tower and surround it and the courtyard itself. And you see the Archmage wandering across the bridge in a bit of a huff, like he seems to be aware that he doesn't have a lot of time. So he's trying to do as much as he can, and he's just crossing this bridge. Ingrid is following him like, hey, Grifter, slow down! And just chasing off after him. Avandre sticking by you guys, looking around. Well, we're certainly not in the forest anymore. What do you guys do?
I'm assuming follow the wizard, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
All right. You follow the wizard.
Off to see the wizard.
From the courtyard onto the bridge, and just kind of, you peek over the edge of the bridge just to kind of see below you what looks to be a massive blue circle almost spherical in nature, with some brown and green spots on it in larger like pieces of this circle, and what look like swirling patterns of gray and white that appear even from this distance to be slowly moving across this circle. Your players or your characters wouldn't have much of a concept of what a planet looks like from space, but as players, that is what you were effectively seeing. The material plane as viewed from the astral sea.
Oh, this makes my stomach hurt.
I'm gonna have everyone here. Please roll either an intelligence or intelligence check, or a survival check, whichever one is better for you.
I like that.
I'm surviving. Much better than thinking.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh shoot! I still had advantage on. Sorry.
That's fine. 24s. Either one of those beats the DC. So.
So just intelligence.
Intelligence or survival, whichever one you want to roll. Oh, two of you are so close. Okay, so Loki and Taylor, you two are so far out of your element, you don't know what you're looking at. Tez, like, you're looking at this at this big circle below you, and it looks weird.
Oh, this is weird.
And you're looking at one of the like big brown and green blobs that's on it, and then off on the right and away, like off almost like on a corner of it, a bit of a distance, is another like brown and green glob, much smaller than the one you're looking at. That looks, you don't know why, there's something familiar. Tyler and Finn, as you're both looking at it, like, oh, there's something familiar about looking at this, at like this big fucking blob on this blue circle. Drost, you put two and two together. This big fucking blob that you're looking at is the continent of Meridia.
Mm-hmm.
From so far away that you can see every edge of it. But more importantly, you can see at fixed points in the space above and surrounding this circle, you see large black monoliths floating above the clouds. Black chains of energy seem to be connecting them, with them converging at a single, much larger monolith floating above a small island off the eastern coast, where you're pretty confident that the capital of the empire would be. To the northwest, floating above a space in the ocean, are remnants of one of those monoliths, shattered into what looks to be a scattering of pieces, no chains of energy connecting them. You can see kind of through the debris of that monolith, what looks like, if this is a continent, those have to be islands of some sort. And they're vaguely shaped in the shape of an anchor. And I'm going to say everyone but Drost and Loki. Well, first off, would Drost share everything he just found and point everything out?
Yeah. I would be whipping out a journal to scribble the locations as well.
All right, you're doing that, and as you point out everything, all of these monoliths and where they're kind of located, the four of you, other than Drost and Loki, give me a DC 20. If you want history, otherwise just intelligence. I don't know if anyone here has proficiency in history.
I'm good at history. I'm proficient.
You can take history. If you don't have history, then just intelligence.
It's the same for me. So. God damn.
Hang on a sec.
Oh wait, sorry. I forgot. Tez shouldn't roll that either. That's my bad. Tez wouldn't have been there.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's my bad. I forgot about that. That you've changed characters since then. Tyler and Finn. As soon as Drost is kind of pointing out these monoliths, and he points out the busted one, and you see the islands below there. You remember a certain set of islands.
That's where they shot that big fuck you cannon.
Oh, what?
When they
What
nuked
do you
the
mean?
island.
What big fuck you cannon?
You saw that happen.
The big giant super cannon in Korda that we've probably not talked to you about, Loki. But it's there. They got a big gun.
I don't know if you mentioned it to Drost either, if I'm being honest.
I don't think we have. Drost, right?
Did you bring the evildoers to justice?
No.
Oh.
Why not?
Oh, shit, I talked
Is
about
it
everything
the Empire?
else.
Oh, goodness.
We're working on it.
Yeah, you're confident that that anchored island there is situated right below where that fucking shattered monolith seemed to be hovering above. And unlike all the other monoliths, there's no longer chains of energy linking that one to the rest of them in a network.
Someone tells me that's bad.
We need to visit every single place that is underneath one of those things.
How many of those are the same distance from where Korda would be and that island?
Well, how about I show you guys where they are? I can draw a little map here. Because I wasn't sure if you guys were going to get here. I probably should have made a different map level for this. Where are...
So is the assumption that we're making that so they shot a big fuck off cannon and destroyed this thing, and those are like potentially the wards keeping the prince?
That would sound like a
Out
reasonable
of the material
conclusion.
plane. Sure.
Sounds like something. It's I think you're not entirely sure what you're looking at yet.
Right. Yeah.
But you are at bare minimum you are sure that something happened to that island, and it sounds like the rest of this party is aware of it. And the one spot where something happened to one of these areas, that monolith is gone. So, big fucking massive like central monolith is very clearly there on the Isle of like the Meridian Isle. Drost, you would know that island is exclusively reserved as the like homestead of the Light Rock family, the Imperial family. It was where like centuries ago, Lucifer Light Rock crossed the sea after building a fucking bridge, and then conquered all of the other tribes here in the Crown Lands and united them into the capital. But that monolith is 100% right over that fucking island. The second of the smaller ones, so we have one... Oh, I need my draw tool that I just had. There's one way out here to the east, in the Eastwater Sea. Let me make sure I have that location correct. Okay. There is one underneath, or one hovering above Jewel City, over on the Island of Winds. There is one down here in the mountains of the Silk Sand Desert. And there's one way to the north in the Northern Territories.
And where was the busted one?
The busted one is out here. There's a little set of islands that I don't have on the map that are in the shape of an anchor, once known as Anchored Isles, or the Anchored Isles. And just so we don't confuse them with anything else, Voila. But yeah, you guys see the rest of these monoliths, smaller in nature than the central one, but all seemingly linked together and to this central monolith as well.
Hmm.
What do we know about who shot the big took-off cannon in
It was the
Porta?
Empire.
Empire did it.
I mean, we're assuming the blade did it through the Empire.
I mean, probably.
I mean, it's
Yeah, we don't know
splitting
for sure,
hairs,
though.
but they're basically the same.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially since what the Empress's consort is
Charles Malor.
Like Tez is having dreams of that guy being the aspect of the prince.
He's creeping me out.
Tez, give me one more intelligence check.
Okay.
Or, you know what? History. This will be a history
good.
check.
Even better. 17.
One of the dreams that you've had, where you saw, like, through Charles's eyes, you don't get, like, other than the main first one that's happened, you've had, like, little bits of snippets here and there. Nothing crazy, like, nothing definitive. The word anchor keeps popping up in your head, though.
Well,
And
the
you've
word anchor keeps
heard
popping up in my
him
head.
specifically say it.
I do hear him say that word sometimes. Anchor. But it's probably not related.
Is it in a good way or a bad way?
Oh, he looks at me and he's like, anchor. And I'm like, huh.
Avandre's just been kind of like looking at all of these, taking it all in.
I mean, is the Archmage getting away from us, or is he here?
He's over,
Or
like,
doing this?
he's at the tower and seems to be doing something. Like, Ingrid's trying to talk to him, and he's just like, no, like, seems to be trying to get the tower to interface with him in some way, and isn't having any luck just yet. Avandre just keeps kind of looking over at these monoliths. I think I know what these are. And it's not good. Is that their play? Is that what he's been working towards this whole time?
It
Oh,
wasn't
no.
good. What we saw
That-
was not good.
That fucking monster.
Yeah, we knew that, right?
I don't think we've properly understood the depths he's willing to go.
Uh-oh.
He kind of looks at all you guys. So I've mentioned in the past that I wasn't like a member of the Mystics, but I was aware of them and interacted with them. Tez is very right. Their anchor, the word anchor, is very important because that, and he points at the central anchor hovering over Meridia. That is the primary divine anchor that keeps Demogorgon imprisoned.
Oh.
Oh.
And the rest of those are the support pillars for it.
Mm.
The weaker, he's been fully imprisoned since whenever the Creation War was. And that, and he looks at the destroyed one. That means his prison just got a little bit weaker. I don't think he's out yet. Obviously, this whole thing would be destroyed if it was out, and we'd be very well aware if he was out. It might not even be feasible yet for him to do it. But I think we just got a new priority in the list.
Yeah.
Suddenly you guys hear a rumbling noise, and you look over at the tower, and there's just the ever-shifting of seamless stone to reveal an opening. As the Archmage kind of call, come on, we don't have a lot of time, we need to talk now. Inside.
Oh.
Haul ass.
You
We
guys
run.
all haul ass into this magical, seamless white stone tower hovering over a planet and looking at what could potentially be the cause of the destruction of the world. And that is where we're going to leave off for the night.
Oh, goodness.
Ooh.
Yay. All right,
Sweet.
so I'm gonna end.
It was a nice
record-
change of pace.
Yeah.
Nice and chill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some RP.
A
Yeah.
lot of downtime, a lot of RP, even though I had to drag it out of some of you.
But I'm gonna end the recording here. So thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.